Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the 2020-21 NR2003 NASCAR season here on the channel. Today, we are racing at Martinsville Speedway at the Paperclip, a track known for just incredible racing, especially when it comes to playoff time. But very excited to bring this one to you guys. 300 laps around the Paperclip here today. Stage 1, 75 laps. Stage 2, 75 laps. And Stage 3, 150. And as usual, I am joined by my good friend Jay Cook here in the booth. And Jay, we come to this track that I think both of us been looking forward to quite a bit. What do you think we're going to see tonight?
Oh yeah, I am very, very excited to finally be in Martinsville. Always a great race, especially under the lights now. It's always the last couple of years we've had it. It's been just really cool to see these guys put on a great show. And I mean honestly, I'm expecting the kind of chaos that we've been seeing here in Martinsville lately. We always have something happen towards the end. Whether it be a late race caution that provides a drama-filled restart, or like we saw with Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, and Martin Truex Logano, countless others where we had the leaders potentially, or basically wreck each other for the win, or try to wreck each other for the win. So that's basically what I'm expecting here tonight is a really high intensity race, and probably something happening with the leaders right towards the end.
So the car is now rolling here. I think definitely tonight we're going to probably see less cautions than last time at Bristol Motor Speedway on the dirt. It's nice to be back after an off week. We did have a little exhibition race. But Jay, one thing that catches, I think, both of our eyes, Kyle Busch on pole. And we know how his season's been. He's wrecked so many times. Hands down, has wrecked the most out of anybody here. How do you see this going from? Is this going to be a step in the right direction, or is he going to have another rough night, do you think?
I'm sure if you're some of these guys around him right now, you're a little bit terrified, especially with the way he drove at Bristol Dirt. I mean, the guy was just an absolute wrecking ball. So I don't know if we'll see him get back on track tonight and maybe see him lead this race for a bit and actually have a good, consistent race, or if we'll see him continue to wreck. Honestly, what I expect is probably him to continue to wreck. I mean, it's been one consistent theme all season long, and I don't see that changing now.
Well, he leads the way out of turns two on this opening lap, side by side with Kyle Larson. Larson's been very strong this season, probably the best driver in the field this season so far. Had a rough week at Bristol Dirt, and one thing you're going to notice here is the outside actually does pretty good. The person that made this track, I think it mentioned that there was a bit of a grip strip on that second lane, so you should see some good side by side action, especially on the restarts. And you're seeing Kyle Larson get a good run out of the corner now. As I thought I just saw some smoke up ahead, but I might be wrong now, as they're still side by side between Kyle and Kyle. That's the Kyle and Kyle show with Chase Elliott there in P3. But Jay, we look at Kyle Larson. He's having a tremendous season. We've seen him in the past at Martinsville kind of struggle on the long run. So, I mean, do you think we're going to see that again, or maybe Hendrick Motorsports is a bit of a change up for him?
I genuinely think we haven't seen the full potential of this guy yet. I mean, we can take everything that we learned from him at Chip Ganassi and kind of throw it away. I really think that him being at Hendrick now is just going to be a massive step for his career. I mean, we've already seen it so far with how well he's running this season compared to how he's ran before. I mean, it tracks that we've always talked about him struggling. Now you look at it and you go, well, was it equipment or was it driver? And I mean, obviously so far I'd say maybe it was more equipment here. I mean, he's already taken the lead from Kyle Busch, and it's just something we've never seen him really do at Martinsville. And kind of the same thing for plate tracks. I mean, we always talked about, at least you and I have, whenever we've watched races and things, we've always seen him struggle at plate tracks, and we just can't stand watching him race there because it just seems like he never knows what he's doing. But having Hendrick equipment at plate tracks is just a different beast in and of itself. I mean, you're automatically like a top five speed uh, in Hendrick equipment at plate tracks. So I'm really excited to see what he can do in this car. And if he stays there for a long period of time, I really think that he's going to be the next superstar in this sport.
I think just the Hendrick Motorsports knowledge in itself as well is just going to be a massive help. Now, it's actually, I see a little bit of damage on the back, or on the front, sorry, of the 36 currently of David Reagan. So a little bit of damage there. I did see some kind of skid marks right here as they're going through right now. So something happened there, but everybody seems to be okay. Everyone is on the track, so it looks like we're all good to go here on lap 7. At this point, 2 weeks ago in Bristol, we already had two cautions. So we're already doing better than a couple weeks ago now as we look in P3. Jay, honestly, this right here, Chase Elliott, probably has to be my favorite for tonight. He won last time we came here in 2020 and set him up for a Final Four appearance, and then that took him to a championship. I mean, who do you got tonight?
I think Chase Elliott's a pretty good pick. I mean, we've seen him ever since he's came into the Cup Series. We've seen him always. Just Martinsville is one of his better tracks. It's probably his best track aside from the road courses in Watkins Glen. I mean, he's just really, really good here, and he's always in contention. So I think that's a pretty good pick. I personally, though, just feel like I have to go with Kyle Larson. He's had too good of a season. He's in that equipment now, and I feel like he can just win every single race on this calendar. I mean, he looks so strong in that equipment now. So I'm going with Kyle Larson.
I think it's a surprise to both you and I that he's actually yet to win it all this season. We've had quite a few different winners, and I mean, but you look at how crazy these races have been. But he's been in position to win so many races. He's thrown a few away. I think back to Phoenix the most when he and Matt DiBenedetto as well came into the pit lane very questionably. Both of them threw their races away. Now, as we look a little bit further down the order, Kevin Harvick currently running in the top five. Jay, another guy like Kevin Harvick, he has had a very up and down season. He won the Daytona 500. He won the Daytona Road Course 2 in a row. But ever since those 2 wins, it's been pretty much a complete disaster. We've seen him pretty much DNF every other race. It feels like. So I mean, it seems like both him and Kyle Busch right now, at least Jay, are having kind of a step in the right direction race moment.
Yeah, I mean, well, we've seen Harvick. I mean, especially at Las Vegas, we saw him leading, and he was starting to kind of run away with that race, and we've seen him do that several times so far this season, and then just something happens that takes him out. So I wouldn't consider this to be a good race for him yet. But luckily for him, I mean, we mention it every time we talk about it. Luckily for him, he's got those 2 wins, so he's in the playoffs. It's just all kind of about getting some momentum going now and getting as many playoff points as you can. And unfortunately for Harvick, that hasn't really happened so far. But the one thing he does have is again falling back on those 2 wins to get into the playoffs at least. He just got to start getting some better finishes together to gather momentum and get those very very crucial playoff points. And I mean, he also probably wants to go for the regular season championship as well, which, as you know, is 15 extra playoff points, and those are huge. And I can't recall how far off of Hamlin he is, but I have to think that he's starting to get a little bit out of reach and is starting to kind of fear about that right now.
Absolutely, and one thing I noticed, by the way, right there is Joey Logano had run Harvick down and tried to take a look to the inside, and just mentioning earlier about that kind of grip strip around the top. Honestly, Jay, on green flag conditions when they kind of get spread out, do you think it might actually be really tough to pass on the bottom here tonight?
Yeah, unless you just really have a really good long run car, it might actually be quite tough to pass. I can't tell if the two is going for the pass on the 17 here, or if the 17 is trying to pass the two. But it certainly does seem like that, especially with that grip strip up there, it might be pretty hard to pass in the long run. I mean, I think maybe the only way you can do it is if the guy makes a mistake, or if you just have a really good long run car. And there's one thing that you failed to mention that, or well, I should say failed to mention, but you haven't mentioned yet that I'm going to go ahead and bring up is the stages tonight are 75, 75, and then 150, and then we have them set the times to fuel and tire wear. So these guys are going to be making more pit stops, and hopefully they'll have to make at least one pit stop per stage.
There you have it. There, it's going to be interesting to see how the strategy plays out now. Chris Buescher having a good run. Honestly, Buescher is one of the best drivers in the points right now without a victory. I believe he actually is number one in points without a victory, if I'm not mistaken, which is extremely surprising because most of the season he's just not had the speed to be where he is in points, but he's stayed out of trouble continuously and picked up the points when it matters. But here he is tonight, actually having a top 10 run so far. A lot of racing to go, of course, but so far green through the first 17 laps. There, as you see, Brad Keselowski down in P8, Eric Almirola in P9. And Jay, another thing I'm kind of noticing is it seems like other teams now are starting to catch on because you remember probably the first 4 or 5 races, it was Stewart Haas dominance and Ford dominance, and right now you look in the top five. I mean, we got Blaney and Harvick, but the top three is Chevys and Toyotas. So it seems like the other teams are starting to catch on now.
Yeah, I think for at least the first 3 races or so, it was. I mean, it was all Fords, and certainly into Vegas as well. I mean, I remember talking about they had the entire SHR and Penske group up there at one point until some wrecks started happening. But yeah, I do agree. I think that teams are starting to get kind of in their stride now, and they're starting to get things figured out. And it might have just been a case of the Fords having themselves figured out a lot earlier than all these other guys, and now they've kind of the rest of the field has caught them, and I don't know if they're going to run away from the Fords because I mean you look at Penske, that's 4 really good drivers that can win just about every single week. And then you have Harvick, obviously, with SHR, who's just been one of the most dominant guys of the last several years. So I don't think we'll see Ford go away anytime soon, but I certainly do think that the other manufacturers, specifically Hendrick Motorsports, have caught the Fords.
One thing I'm noticing right off the bat, I think we're going to see a trend here tonight is clearly Larson, Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott have the fastest cars so far. They're pulling away from fourth place on back. You look at the current fastest laps. Actually, Kevin Harvick has the fastest lap right now. Larson second, Logano third. But you look in the top 10, Kyle Busch, he's down in P6 there. Chase Elliott, he's in P8 of the fastest laps so far. But definitely Larson overall looking really strong. But I mean, you look up ahead here, lap traffic. Jay, we know lap traffic has played a unique role this season in this series. We've seen Noah Gragson cause havoc. Then we had Quinn Houff take out Kevin Harvick when he was leading at Las Vegas. And I mean, I don't know how it's going to be today. I think it'll be a little bit more tame in terms of them causing incidents and whatnot. But I think that lap traffic is going to be a huge role in holding up a driver like Kyle Larson and him potentially losing a win because of that.
Oh yeah, we see lap traffic be an issue in real life in Martinsville, and I mean, you know, on NR they just don't get out of the way. So at a track like Martinsville, it's probably going to be even worse. I will say the one thing that might play an advantage is the grip strip in the outside lane. So these leaders, if they really want to, they could probably take that outside line and get around these guys a little bit easier than if that grip strip weren't there. However, I do think that, especially if they're too wide like this, I think they're certainly going to be an issue all night long. And I mean, we'll never see them give these leaders an easy ride.
You see the 18 now to the back of the 5 of Larson. A little bit of pressure right there. Yeah, I mean, I think the best bet for these guys is going to be trying to complete the pass on the top. And actually, I think we're seeing exactly that's what they're going to be doing here. You see Larson move up, and he's going to try and get to that outside of the 54. But it's going to be interesting to watch these guys navigate their way through the traffic tonight. Here's Elliott's to the back of the 18. We haven't really seen any bumping and banging at all so far here today, but it is very early in this race. But Jay, do you think we're going to see these guys give the bumper or not?
They may to some lap traffic if they don't get out of the way and then they're really causing an issue. But to these very back guys, I don't think we'll see the leaders have that much issue getting through them just because of the sheer difference in pace. But if we get a really long green flag run and we get to, you know, they're lapping the top 25 guys, they may be a real struggle to get around, and you may see the leaders have to bump them to move them out of the way, or vice versa. You see the leader get caught up behind someone, and then second place comes in and bumps the leader out of the way. So it's really, it'll be really interesting to watch, and I think we'll certainly see some bump and runs happen as we get later onto this thing.
Larson making the bottom work there, getting through traffic, doing a good job. He's actually opening up a pretty good gap to second place of Kyle Busch right now, who's struggling a lot more to get through the traffic. Elliott kind of being held up, as well as Larson goes through on the inside to pass the 78 car. But now 28 laps into a so far full green flag run here at Martinsville Speedway. We are going to go through to a quick break and come back and bring you guys to the end of stage 1 here, which ends on lap 75. Welcome back here to Martinsville Speedway under the lights tonight. Now as we are now on lap 39 at the paperclip. Kyle Larson and the other leaders like Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott still working their way through lap traffic now as Kyle Busch has actually been closing up the gap to the back of Kyle Larson a little bit here now as Quinn Houff's going a lap down. Elliott is almost 3 seconds behind. He's been just kind of stuck right in that traffic now as Ryan Blaney, Kevin Harvick still running P4 and P5. Chris Buescher up to P6 currently over Brad Keselowski. William Byron has worked his way into the top 10, so he's having a strong run here today. We've already seen William Byron be in the mix here and there, so we know he's going to be a good competitor now as Larson closing in toward the back of the 36 of David Reagan and Corey LaJoie. But Jay, 40 laps complete so far, now on lap 41. Honestly, a very clean race so far, and I was expecting a little bit more action, but they've been extremely clean.
Yeah, these guys have all been real patient with each other. They've been real nice and giving each other a lot of room, and it's kind of surprising to me so far. I mean, we've seen with a lot of these races so far, these guys are just aggressive right off the bat and going at each other and making all kinds of moves no matter when or no matter what point in the race they are. So far, a much more calmer race today, especially compared to Bristol Dirt. I mean, that was just absolute insanity. So it's a nice change of pace to see these guys running like this and keeping it clean. And I can't tell from that aerial shot there, but it looked like Kyle Busch had a little bit of left rear damage. That looked kind of odd. I don't know if he truly does, but it looks like I could see his tires sticking out a bit compared to the other side of the car. Um, but yeah, certainly a very good change to see these guys running in a green flag run so far.
Yeah, it's basically the polar opposite from a couple weeks ago at Bristol Motor Speedway. As we look through the order right now, I mean, we really at Bristol we never had an opportunity to just go through the order because we were watching restarts left and right. So right now, you see the 43 of Eric Jones battling with the car he got kicked out of actually last season. Now of Christopher Bell, Alex Bowman, Jay. He is not having a good run today. Is he down in P23? So once again, that struggle or the struggles for that team really showing today because this is not what they need. We're already closing in towards what a quarter of the way through the season, and they're running out of time a lot faster, I think, than they think to get to the playoffs when they're not even in the top 20 in points.
Yeah, I think Bowman at this point he needs to be looking at running top 5 every week, unless he gets a win. Because I mean he's had so many struggles so far this season, and I mean yeah, like you said, we're like a quarter of the way through now, and he is 50 or so points back of the playoffs. About no, maybe about 60 actually, and that is a hefty amount to make up, and try and do it without a win or without a bunch of top fives and stage points. If he's going to continue to run like this every week, he's got no chance. He,
Oh,
he he needs to kick it into gear.
the 11 car's got quite a bit of damage there on the right side, actually. Not sure where that came from, but yeah, they got the caved in, got a caved in right side there for Hamlin. So Bubba Wallace currently running better actually than his team owner Denny Hamlin. You see that 23 car currently up in that 14th position, dealing with that lapped car of JJ Yaley. I'm watching a guy like Joey Logano. Jay, he's kind of falling down the order here now, outside of the top 10, actually behind his alliance teammate of Matt DiBenedetto, and we got Austin Cindric, who actually won at Bristol Dirt and now currently in the playoffs, but he should not actually advance to the playoffs because we will be taking him out eventually. But not really a whole lot of surprises right now that I'm seeing. Anything really kind of catching you off guard here at all?
Maybe the slight thing that's catching me off guard is Logano, like you said, slipping his way down through the field. I mean, he's another guy at Martinsville that we really expect to do good. So that's kind of surprising. And I guess also Kyle Busch still having the speed and also not wrecking himself yet. I mean, every single week it seems like this guy is just creating issues for himself. And so far, he's having a really good race, and he also seems to be just a tad bit quicker than Larson. I don't know if he's got enough to pass him, but he's got enough to at least keep with him.
There you see him trying to run down. Look at all those lap cars that Kyle Larson is about to have to deal with. So it's going to be interesting to watch that here in a few moments' time. I am noticing, though, the 17 of Busher actually passed Ryan Blaney. And honestly, I think so far he has been the one car we're noticing that has been on the move in tonight's event. So I wouldn't write off that 17. We haven't really considered him to be a factor this season in terms of raw speed. But Jay, it really looks like that 17 might have something here tonight.
Yeah, we haven't considered him because we just don't think about it. But I mean, if you look at the points, he's right behind Hamlin, 3 points behind him for the points lead. I mean, you got Hamlin with 267, Almirola with 266, and then he's at 264. So of the guys who haven't won yet, he's the best, and he's the best by about 5 points on Blaney. So he's certainly had a good season so far, and at least a consistent one. I mean, he's just we again. Well, Kyle Busch making a pass for the lead here.
Is he going to pull it off, though? Larson's got that outside advantage. We know there's a bit more grip up there. And now Kyle's actually going to be stuck behind Ricky Stenhouse Jr., so I think Larson should be okay for the time being as they come through out of turns 4. Yeah, he's going to be perfectly fine for now. Kyle's got to get up to the top here if possible. But yeah, Larson, that was a close call there. He almost lost the lead. He was over a second ahead just a few moments ago, and now he's under pressure. But you look at how many cars he's got to deal with. He's got Christopher Bell up there, Anthony Alfredo, the 16 of Kaz Gralla, Ty Dillon in the 96 as well, who slides up in front of the 5 now. So that could be a bit of a predicament for Larson. But I mean, we look through now, Jay. Like this is going to be the big thing to watch here is how they deal with the lap traffic. We've seen Kyle Larson kind of at points this season struggle with the lap traffic. So that might be the only thing that's going to get him beat tonight.
I swear to you that he slightly scraped the wall there. It looked like he fishtailed getting on the braking in turn 1, and he slightly scraped the wall. Hope for him that he didn't, but I think that he did. He may. It doesn't look like he has any damage, but he might have done a little bit there. But I think the one thing we have to look at is Chase Elliott right now. I mean, Kyle Busch and Larson are just stuck behind this giant line of lap cars, and once Chase Elliott gets around David Reagan here, he's got green air, and just he can go right up to shut up. He can go right up to them, and he's probably gonna wind up catching them. I mean, that line of cars is just so darn long that he's gonna once he gets around David Reagan, he'll probably easily run these two down.
Elliott getting close to that green air right now as it comes through out of turns 4, trying to complete that pass on the 36 of David Reagan. Now, as Kevin Harvick's continuing to hold off the 17 of Busch, are actually opening up a bit of a gap now as you see Blaney is side by side with the one car of Kurt Busch. I'm surprised we haven't seen someone go into a corner and just clip a guy like that in the left rear and turn him around, but I'm sure that's going to happen at some point now as you see rounding out the top 10 currently. William Byron. But Jay, I don't know what the fuel cycle is here. We got it, of course, on 2x wear, but I would have to assume they would be coming in potentially within the next maybe 20 laps.
I don't even know if it'll be that long. I think they should probably have to pit right about now.
Oh, Kyle
Okay,
Busch.
yeah, well,
Kyle Busch out front. It
Larson
appears
starting to struggle really
yeah,
hard with the lap cars all of a sudden.
stuck behind the 20 of Christopher Bell. After when we get a caution here, we'll actually go back and get you a look at the pass for the lead. But it appears that Christopher Bell is really holding up the 5 of Kyle Larson right now, as Kyle Busch is trying to get his way through traffic. So Larson, who's led the majority of stage 1, we're already closing in on 15 laps to go here in stage 1. But Larson, he cannot pass his 20 car whatsoever. These are good friends right here, Jay. We know Bell and Larson are very good friends, especially when it comes to dirt racing. Bell is doing no favors right now to Larson.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what Larson's even doing. I mean, I understand Bell not getting out of his way, but Larson's made so many passes on the outside, and he's just sitting behind Christopher here, and obviously he's so slow that the 47 has now caught him. He's going to go around him on the outside. I can't really understand what Larson is doing here, so I have to think that maybe something is going wrong with Christopher Bell's car, because he's just exceptionally slow all of a sudden. But I don't know why Larson is sticking behind him. He's really making a dumb choice right now, and it's ending. Well, not really ending, but it's certainly not helping his chances right now.
And I mean, the 9 car is closing in really quick. Actually, the 17 got past Kevin Harvick, so he's moving up. And Larson not really appearing to try and pass the 20 at all. He's just riding right behind him. And Kyle Busch has now opened it up to almost 3 seconds over Larson. So I'm not quite sure the idea behind this strategy. Now it appears he's trying to move up a little bit higher. Oh, here we go, finally. But obviously way too late. But something's definitely off currently with that 20 car of Christopher Bell. He is falling down very quick now as he is not even in the top 30 currently, so definitely a lack of speed. We saw a little bit more speed in that car earlier, so it appears something has to be going wrong. Now is actually Elliott under attack from the 17 of Buescher, so Elliott dropping down to potentially P4 here. We know that outside has the advantage, but Jay, I am very impressed by the 17. Honestly, I think he might have the speed. We'll definitely see in stage 2. I think he might have the speed to contend for the lead.
Yeah, it looks like he has a really good long run car. He's made his way through this field really easily. And Chase Elliott was a guy we were talking about earlier who we thought could win this race. There we go. And Chris Buescher just ran him down. So I have to think that maybe it had to do a little bit with lap cars, but I mean certainly he's shown to have good speed so far with the way he's got right through Kevin Harvick and a lot of those guys that are behind him now. As Kyle Busch is, wow, he's gotten a massive lead on Kyle Larson, over 3 seconds. I mean, that's the kind of damage Larson did to himself. I still cannot understand what he was doing sitting behind the 20 like that.
And now Kyle Busch trying to put Alex Bowman a lap down. That's big for Bowman right there, and any chance he has at making the playoffs. I mean, it's still early in the season, but this is a big moment here for the rest of his race to get some crucial points potentially in that third and final stage now. As you see, as well up ahead, Chase Briscoe not running that great. I actually see some damage on the back of his car, like quite a bit of damage there, as he runs in P23 currently. So interesting to see maybe what happened to him now as Kyle putting pressure on the back of Bowman. But I mean, you can see, Jay, there is not really many options for Kyle right now, and this could be Kyle Larson's chance as we approach the final 10 laps. Larson might not be out of it. He might have a chance here maybe to still win the stage.
Yeah, I think we'll see Larson probably catch the group that Kyle Busch is in right now. But thing is Kyle Busch has already made his way through part of this group, and Larson's going to have to start making his way through this group. So, whatever ground he makes up, he might lose, and he might lose even more if he can't get through this group very quickly. As now Kyle Busch is moving to the outside, and he's probably going to be able to get easily around Balman, and I think that is Yaley in front of Balman here. So it's going to be easy pickings here for Kyle Busch, and Larson's now going to have to make his way up to this group, and hope he can get around him pretty easily.
I see Ty Dillon on the pit lane, and I'm starting to see some pit signs making their way out into the actual pit box. So I think in the closing moments here of this stage, we might actually get to see some pit stops now. So it'll be interesting to see if anyone else comes into the pit lane. But Kyle Busch checking out right now, trying to run down the 14 of Chase Briscoe. Briscoe, a rookie season so far for Stewart-Haas Racing, definitely hasn't had a great season. I don't even know if we've seen him finish in the top 10 yet this season, Jay. But definitely, you look at the rookies. I think Briscoe is really the only one we really have our eyes on, and definitely hasn't been the most impressive performance from him so far.
It hasn't been the greatest season, but it also hasn't been the worst. I mean, he is a rookie after all, so you have to give him some kind of slack there. And I mean, he's in a 14 car that we haven't seen perform well at all since Tony Stewart retired, and even before then the car was kind of suffering. So you could probably point a little bit of that to the team, just maybe not being at the top performance of SHR like we see with Kevin Harvick. But I mean, yeah, it also just has to do with him being a rookie, I think, and seeing a lot of these tracks for the first time and racing these guys for the first time. And so I think as the season goes on, he'll certainly look better. And as we get into the next year, maybe that team's performance can go up and his performance will go up. And we'll see him maybe be in contention for top 10s, if not a win, every now and then.
There you saw Kyle Busch come to the end of lap 69. Nice start, lap 70, and we're seeing drivers come into the pit lane. Daniel Suarez, Ryan Newman, Cole Custer, as well as Cody Ware all coming in right now. And honestly, I think we might, I don't know if it's going to happen, but maybe, nope, I was going to say I thought we might see Kyle Busch maybe try to stay out, but he pits. Kyle Larson stays on the track, but if maybe we're so close to the end of this first stage, Jay, that if Kyle Larson or something can stay out, he could essentially just completely ruin Kyle Busch's race.
I was just going to mention that. I was going to say with how close we are to the end of the stage, it would be just absolutely wild if one of these guys stayed out, especially when pretty much the entire field is pitted. Never mind, that's not going to happen now.
Well, the 17 and the 9.
The strategy would have been certainly interesting to see a guy stretch it all the way to the end of the stage.
The 17, the 9, the 1 are all still on the track. Those are the only lead lap cars, or I guess cars that have been legitimate competitors. I just saw the 00 nail the outside. Well, nothing comes out of that. Now as the 17 remains on the track, but Chase Elliott just took the lead from him here now. Is there going to be 3 laps to go? I don't know what happened to Quinn Alf right there, but he just went straight out of turns 2, I believe it was, and just nailed the wall. But Jay, look at the speed difference.
17 is running so slow right now. I'm not sure if he's trying to all of a sudden start saving and just run it out and see if he can make it.
Boy.
Ooh! That was almost a really
17's
big moment there.
pitting.
Nope, the 17 is pitting, and the 16, I thought I might have saw him go spinning, but obviously not. Is Chase Elliott on pit road?
He was.
Yes, okay.
So we're looking to see where Kyle Busch is now at, I believe. Yeah, that should be.
He's in third at the moment.
There he is, right there. Wow, there was nearly 2 potential crashes right there too, which could have been huge. As I'm looking for Kyle Larson, he got overtaken actually by Chase Elliott. As we start 2 laps to go, by the way. As the 17 is still getting service there, I see. But, oh my goodness, a whole bunch of stuff going on here. Right at the end, as Jay, I believe...
Don't forget to do the thing right now.
Yes. Once they come around here, I believe, yep, Kyle Busch should be back out front. As we start the final lap of Stage 1. Yes, sure enough, Kyle Busch back to the front. And Martin Truex Jr., is not in second, so he's falling down. Chase Elliott currently holds on to second place. So somehow, there we have some cars slowing down. Now, what in the world is going on here? I'm not sure what that's about.
Caution may already be out.
Potentially so, but okay, now they're slowing down.
This happened before, where the lead car or 2 will still race it back, but oh no.
I don't think that's going to be too much of an issue. They both look pretty good.
Those are teammates. That's not what you want to see your teammate do to you there. Even if there's not a lot of damage, I'm sure Kyle Busch is not happy.
Bit of an awkward end to stage one. The finishing results did not get affected, thankfully, but they were kind of slowing down at awkward times. Oh, the 14 just.
Here we go.
Oh, no.
Here we go.
The way Kyle Busch's season
Don't look
has
like
gone.
they got too much damage. I don't think anybody got that much damage there, but that was
Yeah,
a bit
Kyle
of a
Busch looks
moment that
okay.
we hope doesn't happen again.
Oh, what is Kyle Larson on the pit lane for?
This could be potentially huge.
Is he having problems or maybe a loose lug nut or something they felt like? But that wouldn't make sense for them to. Oh, he already left his pit box. And just came out.
All
Oh,
right, so he
okay.
should stay on the lead lap then,
He
so that's
should.
good for him. He's definitely going to have lost a lot of ground as others are coming to pit road now.
Hamlin. You see the stage one order, by the way, in your top left of the screen. Still the same as there is definitely some checkups going on. Very close calls here. So Kyle Busch, though, wins stage one. Very unexpected now, as it seems like they're starting to get spread out. But Jay, actually, I don't think we're going to see drivers like Kyle Busch or them pit here. So Larson's going to be cycled out potentially to the back.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what exactly is happening right now, and I think Larson may have legitimately stayed in third, because there's the 17. No, that's not right. How's the 17 down in seventh?
He did
This
lose a lot of
leaderboard right now,
ground.
I think is. Oh no, that's the 14 right there behind the 18.
Yes,
My
correct.
bad. So let's see. We got the 14, 19, 3, 38. Okay, so Larson may actually still be in third, even though he pitted. Because all
Weird
those guys
scenario.
behind Kyle Busch, and in between him and Chase Elliott right now are a lap down, and then everybody between Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson is a lap down.
17 cars on the lead lap. But I believe that these guys might be close to making it to the end of stage two just because of how far we're going into stage two already. We're already going into our fifth lap of the actual second stage. And I'm not sure if we're going green
Larson,
this
that
time.
actually may have been, since he stayed in third, that might have actually been a very smart strategy for Larson.
He
could
can go
certainly,
hard
I think,
now.
make it to the end now.
20 car has some damage there. But yeah, Kyle Larson, he's going to be able to go hard for sure because everybody else, they might actually have to go into save mode a little bit as we're seeing a lot of close calls here as they come through to turns four. Will they be going green this time? The pace car comes through.
I have to think they would be.
Yes. Okay, we're going to stay with the broadcast here. So, Jay, Kyle Busch, your stage one victory. But now we know how NR works set back in 2003 where we had all the lap cars line up on the bottom. I think this is going to make for a really interesting restart.
Yeah, I'm expecting some kind of chaos here, as we're already seeing it a little bit with these guys getting lined up. Is that Bubba Wallace?
Bubba Wallace
wow,
is in
Bubba
fourth.
Wallace is in fourth. That's surprising. I think they played some really smart strategies there at the end of the stage that got him into fourth. I think a lot of these guys that are trapped a lap down right now got hurt with strategy, and unfortunately for them, it seems like they're probably going to be stuck a lap down because, you know, with the way the getting a lap back works in NR, you have to race for it, and I don't know if anybody has the pace to beat Kyle Busch or Kyle Larson.
And they're not even on the preferred lane in the first place as they get stage two underway. Honestly, Jay, I think Kyle Larson, that team probably made a genius call because they do indeed hold on to P3, and now they have fresher tires and more fuel in the car. So I think this is a great call from that Hendrick Motorsports team.
They don't have fresher tires, but they certainly are topped off on
they
fuel.
only took fuel.
Stopped,
that's right.
Yeah, he only stopped for a couple of seconds, so he certainly is topped off on fuel at the very least. And I think that he can 100% make it to the end of the stage. It's a question mark certainly for Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott, and some of the others, but they ran so many laps there under caution, and they were already so close. I think everybody can make it here, but we know for a fact that Kyle Larson certainly can.
Caution is out. Oh! Okay. I see some issues up in the front. Oh, Chastain! Christopher Bell, Kevin Harvick just plowed into the back of the two. Joey Logano, Corey LaJoie, Mac DiBenedetto. We have a pile up here on the front. Straightaway Daniel Suarez. We saw a crash in turn 3. I think there was 2 separate incidents, actually. One of them might have been ignited on the slowdown as Eric Almirola has some damage. And now immediately we're seeing these guys on the lead lap coming to the pit lane. Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott again, Kyle Larson. So there goes any advantage Kyle Larson had. Bubba Wallace actually has a little bit of damage, and so does Kurt Busch. But wow, fully clean and green in stage 1, Jay. And I mean, on the very first restart of stage 2, we see our first crash of the night now as we're going to go and get a really quick look at what just caused that caution here in Martinsville. Incident number 1 involving Eric Almirola. Right here, you're going to see him cut across the front of the 78. We don't know what he was trying to do, maybe get to the pit lane, but then Ryan Blaney piles in, Quinn Half as well, a big incident right there. But then it gets even crazier up front, which we'll get another view of in just a second, but you see everybody piling into an incident where Ross Chastain actually got hooked by Anthony Alfredo down the front straightaway. So 2 separate incidents, and now we'll get you a look at what happened with Alfredo turning the 42. Out of turns 4 right here, you see Alfredo and the 42 come together, and the 38 just never really lifts and just dumps Ross Chastain, and all these cars pile in. So, I mean, Jay, you look at it, Anthony Alfredo just wiped out quite a few cars right there by deciding not to lift out of the throttle and turn that 42.
If I'm not mistaken, I think that's not the first time we've seen him do that this season. I think there was one other time he did that. I might be wrong, though, but it's certainly not the first time we've seen that happen, at least from someone this season. And when it happens, man, these guys just, when they get turned in front of the field like that, these cars on NR do not slow down. And man, there's even more of an incident on the back straightaway there. So yeah, just a lot of damage all around here.
Custer got some damage there. I don't know what happened there, but he got a little bit of damage. But it looks like everybody else escaped from that. So yeah, I mean, 2 different incidents and 1 caution here to start stage 2 at Martinsville. Back here in Martinsville, under the lights at the paperclip, getting ready to go green this time after that incident. Kyle Larson actually has a little bit of front end damage now. But now, after that, not a whole lot of clean cars left on the track, but the top 2 at least, Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott still in good shape. But Jay, what do you think? Is that going to kind of set off a series of potential crashes here? Do you think maybe that was just kind of an odd thing? We might stay green here for the rest of stage 2, which ends at the end of lap 150.
I don't know if it'll cause a bunch of crashes, but I do think that it'll cause kind of a Las Vegas situation where these guys are running up on really slow lap cars every so often, and it might cause some issues. But I don't know if we'll see a bunch of wrecks happen now, but certainly we're going to see some slower cars than we would have seen before.
I think the important thing on that restart there is we saw the front 3 get away, and now they can go race at it for a little bit. As you see Ryan Newman actually coming out of the pit lane right now. But we kind of look towards the back of the field. That's where we saw that crash ignite here, but not seeing anything out of the ordinary. Eric Almirola brought out that caution, and it looked like he was trying to get to the pit lane when he did, and we have actually seen that from him before. He's done that twice already before that this season. That was at Atlanta Motor Speedway going into turn 3. We saw him take out quite a few cars. Now as Newman actually comes back into the pit lane, so not looking good for that team now. Jay, Bubba Wallace, I'm very impressed here as you see Kyle Larson trying to get up the inside of his teammate of Chase Elliott, but I'm very impressed with this 23 car. It didn't seem like he had the speed to be even top 10, but now he's gotten up here and he's having a really good run so far as actually he's under attack from the 1 car.
Yeah, his team played a really good strategy at the end of stage 1 there. Got us in track position, and as we all know, track position is key, especially here in Martinsville with how hard it is to pass. Even especially now with the outside having that grip strip, makes it even harder to pass here. So, yeah, really good strategy call by that team, and then also by him being up front, he was able to avoid that absolute mess that we just had there a moment ago. And he does have a little bit of damage, but not the amount of damage he could have had he been in the same position he were before the caution. So really good strategy call there by that team, and he's taken advantage of circumstances so far.
Kyle Larson clearly proving that you can pass on the inside here as he is almost clear of his teammate of Elliott. Yes, sure enough, Kyle Larson just did something we really haven't seen very much of, and that was a pass on the inside now as Kurt Busch is trying to do the same thing on Bubba Wallace. Is struggling a little bit, but he is just about clear as Ross Chastain is coming back on the track right in front of his teammate of Kurt Busch. I'm sure Kurt was thrilled about that one now as they go down into turns 3. Definitely not the season we expected from him.
From Ross Chastain?
Absolutely not.
Exactly what I expect out of him.
I don't know if he's going to be able to pass these guys or not, but yeah, definitely, Jay. Not been a very good first season and a solid ride for Chastain either. We've seen him have a lot of issues.
And Denny Hamlin is another guy who's very good here at Martinsville, and he was struggling earlier, and now he's caught a lap down. But it seems like he's gotten some good pace all of a sudden. He's kind of keeping up with these guys here. He's just, unfortunately for him, stuck a lap down. So I don't know if he's going to be able to get his lap back, because that might be an issue there. Nope, they're able to keep it all clean. William Byron and Kaz Gralla able to keep it clean and keep going. But man, it's sketchy seeing these guys go 3 wide here.
One thing that's got my eye here is 17, by the way, of Chris Buescher's got some damage on the car, but he's currently running P6 as it is right now, but he's quite a ways down the field. You see Matt DiBenedetto, Ryan Newman, they keep coming into the pit lane trying to fix whatever's wrong with their cars after picking up some damage under that recent yellow. But yeah, definitely Hamlin is looking pretty fast right now, but he is currently the first car lap down, and that doesn't really matter. You don't get no lucky dog here. As you're seeing, Jay, we're seeing Bubba Wallace now run down that 9 of Chase Elliott, and all of a sudden he was under attack from Kurt Busch and was losing time, but here he is all of a sudden running down all these front 3, and he might have something here.
Yeah, I have to think that maybe it could be also a case of Kyle Busch holding these guys up. I mean, you saw how fast Larson was, and he got to Kyle Busch, and now he's just kind of stuck. And I
Look at
don't
the
know if
fastest
it's
lap.
because he's not faster, or oh wow, yeah, he's ran the fastest lap of the race, and Larson has now ran the second fastest lap as well. So where's Kyle Busch on that list? Down in 7th. So certainly, actually, some really good pace in that car. So never mind, I'll take back what I said. He does have a good car.
And we didn't really see great pace in stage 1. So something has kind of clicked with that 23 car, and they are definitely looking fast. Chase Elliott, actually, surprisingly, not in the top 10. He's currently 11th. Daniel Suarez rounds out the top 10 of fastest laps right now, as you see Matt DiBenedetto once again about to come out of the pit lane there. As we were mentioning, Bubba kind of running those guys down. Now he's losing a little bit of time again now as we look through the order, though. Oh! Wow, the 21. He just came out of the pit lane to come right back in, but there was some contact with Denny Hamlin. I don't see any damage on that car, so it should be okay. Well, that was a bit of a moment. But Jay, what's the plan? Do you think behind drivers like DiBenedetto and Newman right now? They seem to be pitting, coming out, coming back into the pit lane. So are they just trying to get that car to go as far as they can for any points possible, or what?
Yeah, that's got to be the strategy. Just get as much damage as you can fixed. Try to get the car to where it can run, and just hope that you wind up outliving some of these other guys who wind up maybe not being able to continue to race, or maybe they see another incident where some guys DNF. So they're really just playing survival right now, and just as Blaney's gotten more damage, I think, to that right side that he did not have before. I don't think that was there when this race restarted. He seemed to have really good pace, and I don't remember that car having that damage,
He
and
was a part of
I'm
that
not too
crash,
sure what
but
happened. He was a part of it, yeah, but I think the only damage he had was to the front and rear end. I don't remember the right side being crunched in like that. So obviously that was either part of the crash or something that's happened to him since this restart.
the 10 car, by the way, was disqualified. Not sure how he got disqualified, but he is disqualified from the race. Eric Almirola down in P38. Not been the last, Jay, 3 to 4 races. Kind of like Kevin Harvick. A very strong season, very strong start. But he's been really struggling lately, having some issues now. As you see, Ryan Newman, 10 laps down now. Matt DiBenedetto, 5 laps down. And honestly, Jay, is it surprising that there's only, to you at least, there's only 13 cars on the lead lap now?
Surprising to see that when we're only 103 laps into this thing. I would have expected that, as we're coming down to the last 10 laps. Not 103 laps in, especially when these leaders, right before the pit stops happened in stage 1, they were only lapping into the bottom of the 20s. They were maybe at like 28th, 27th, somewhere around in there. So obviously strategy had an effect on it. Some of these guys having slow pit stops, and some of the leaders probably making only 2 tire stops, and these other guys had 4 tire stops. So obviously something happened there towards the end of the stage, some disparities in strategy, and it made for a lot more guys to be a lap down. And unfortunately, they're probably not any of them are going to get their lap back. I don't think the only one who could maybe do it is Hamlin, if he gets a restart in the right time, where he is the first lap car in that line and he can just run away. But I don't know if he even has the pace to do that.
Daniel Suarez currently running P8, having a strong run. Tyler Reddick in the top 10. Austin Cindric, last race's winner, actually, at Bristol Dirt. There you got Alex Bowman. He's currently in P18, a lap down. Kevin Harvick's a lap down. Kevin Harvick currently down in 28th place. Caution is out, by the way, on the track. Where are we looking? I don't know what caused this
We
one,
need to be looking here for them to slow down, though. That's where we do need to be looking.
That's the important thing.
Yeah.
They will be
I
pitting.
think they made it all right here for the first 10 cars or so. I don't know about any others back here towards the back. Seems like everything's okay this time.
Oh,
Hopefully we can
oh,
get these
oh,
guys going
oh.
to.
Okay. There was a little bit of contact, but they're okay.
I think we got everything sorted out this time without any issue. I think. I hope.
I didn't see anything going on there, so I'm not sure actually what brought up the caution. So we will, of course, go and investigate once we see what happens here out of the pit lane. The top three boxes as well. So this is an interesting race to watch these guys go at it tonight here at Martinsville now. So who's going to win the race
One
off of the
thing.
pit lane?
One thing I do notice there is in that line of lap cars going around the track, Denny Hamlin is the first one without damage. So it's very possible that when they go onto pit road, contact there between the leaders as they're coming
Oh,
off, but
they're okay.
I don't think they got any damage. So anyways, it's very possible when they do go to pit road, the Chastain does some damage repair, as this might get a little bit hairy between these guys here.
Oh,
No, they keep it clean, I think, for the most part. And maybe Hamlin, like I was mentioning, gets out in front of the lap cars and is the first one there, and maybe there's a chance he gets his lap back. But I genuinely don't know if he has the pace to get around Larson or Kyle Busch and keep himself in front of them until another caution comes out.
and there's Hamlin right there.
Chastain's going to beat him out of the box. Let's
Oh,
see. So Hamlin will be the second one in line. That's certainly not what you want to see for him.
oh,
Is there's some contact there coming off
looks
the
okay
pit
though.
lane there. But yeah,
Logano's gonna get him.
Hamlin's even going to be behind
Yeah.
Logano now, so that's really not good for Hamlin.
Second in
Uh,
line, he had a chance, but now his chances are really low.
yeah, now we're going to have to see what Logano can do sitting behind Chastain there. I mean, Chastain has damage, so there's always the possibility that he's slow enough to get for Logano to get around immediately, but it also seemed like Chastain had some decent pace there, so obviously we know this being a short track in Martinsville, the damage doesn't really affect you that much unless it's terminal.
So Kyle Larson takes the lead on the pit lane after Kyle Busch was leading at the time of the caution. We're going to go to a quick break, come back, and see if we can get the reasoning for the caution as well as bring you back to the
Some contact being
restart.
made there in 1 and 2.
Oh, they do seem okay, thank goodness. But we'll be right back here from Martinsville. Welcome back from Martinsville, fresh off of our second crash of the day here. As Jay, what happened here?
Well, Chase Briscoe decided to stick his nose to the outside of Corey LaJoie and Eric Jones, who were already kind of making contact with each other. And they just unfortunately squeezed him up into the wall, and they went kind of sliding into turn 1. And Ryan Blaney there, I'm not too sure what he was doing, but he made contact, got some more damage to that right side. And we'll have to see if he can get that repaired or not, or if any of these guys can get their damage repaired.
Now getting ready to go green, though, from Martinsville Speedway with Kyle Larson now out in front after our second crash, like we said, of the day. Getting ready now with 40 laps to go in Stage 2. Jay, so far been quite a bit different stage than what we had in Stage 1. These guys are starting to know that the time's starting to get closer towards the end. We're almost halfway through this race, so I think that's got to be playing a bit of a role in the intensity picking up.
Yeah, I mean, once we saw that first crash happen, these guys have been driving a whole lot differently. Through that entire first stage, these guys were giving each other a lot of room. You know, there was a whole lot of ground being given, and these guys giving each other a lot of room and just being real nice to each other. And then the crashes started happening, and now these guys are kind of just running like maniacs, and it's kind of seemed like they've lost their heads a bit, and are thinking, no, I need to get the positioning while I can, because there's going to be a wreck, or I don't want to get wrecked by this guy, or they're just making all kinds of bonehead moves, and we're seeing some kind of interesting things happen. So I think we'll see that continue, especially as we get towards the end of this race, and probably even towards the end of this stage.
Kyle Larson, though, the only driver currently clear of that lap. Traffic, Ross Chastain doing, I guess, a decent job holding up Kyle Busch as Chase Elliott continues to run P3 with Logano on his inside, who is also a lap down. So Chase Briscoe was involved in that last caution. He was, at the time, the last car on the lead lap. He still actually is the last car on the lead lap there in P13. Now, honestly, Jay, I think we'll probably see those same, without strategy anyways, those same 13 cars probably remain on the lead lap because it's going to be very hard for these guys to get that far through the field now at this point.
Yeah, I really do think that maybe the only way that we do see one of these guys get back on the lead lap is if we have like Hamlin or Logano be that first car that is of the lap cars. Is Kurt Busch maybe having to pit here for a loose lug nut?
Not
Something
sure.
definitely happened to that car, which is not good for Kurt.
Top 10 now a lap down. It'll be interesting to see what happens after that. We know he'll definitely make it to the end of the stage just like everybody else. But a bit of a moment there as now the top three have officially gotten clear of the traffic there. So very unfortunate for Kurt Busch, but it actually looks like he's currently the second. No, he's falling quite a ways down to P16. So what the 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth car a lap down now. So very unfortunate there. And Jay, we just saw Eric Jones get destroyed, and he's currently now the last car on the lead lap.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much damage he got from that. Certainly the car was already kind of torn up. I mean, at this point, aside from the top four, really, actually, I don't know, I think just Kyle Busch and Chase Elliott, I think pretty much every car in this field has some sort of damage. So, I mean, again,
Gregson looks
Martinsville
good.
here. Yeah, Noah
Oh
Gregson,
no, never
he
mind
looks
the
fine,
back.
yeah.
A little bit.
But, I mean, here at Martinsville, really body damage is not that big of a deal. It really isn't going to affect you that much until you start getting some mechanical damage, like the toe being out or the engine being hurt, or any multitude of things. So it really isn't going to affect you that much if you just have to tear off the fenders, or you got to make some repair to the rear end or something. So damage is not a huge deal here. Aerodynamics are not a big thing. I mean, we've seen guys win this race before and their cars just absolutely mangled and tore up. So it would not surprise me to see that happen again here.
You know who's just kind of slowly but surely working the way through the field? Actually, a clean-looking car as well as that 48 of Alex Bowman. He's now up to the top 15. So we were talking about him not even being in like the top 20 earlier, Jay, struggling really bad. Well, you know what? His car's clean. He's doing what he needs to be doing. When he knows he doesn't have the speed capable of running great, he's at least staying out of trouble and getting himself back up in the mix. But actually, Kurt Busch is hunting him down pretty quick right now for that 15th
Yeah,
spot.
but unfortunately for Balman, he's a lap down. He's not really going to be able to make up much progress unless other guys have issues and he stays away from those issues. Unfortunately for him, we were mentioning earlier the things he has to do. Yes, he does have to avoid the issues and keep his car clean, which he has done. Unfortunately, what he hasn't done is keep himself on the lead lap and keep himself in contention. I mean, he's got to get top fives and certainly stage points, and that's not going to happen at the current rate that he's going.
It honestly seems like the Kyle Busch, the 18 of Kyle Busch, seems to be quite a bit off right now. Chase Elliott is right behind him, and he even got Logano sticking with them, and Kyle Larson driving away almost a second and a half up now. So it seems like that 18, Jay, as this race is progressing, they seem to be kind of falling off a little bit. I mean, they're still running great, but he is under attack from Elliott, who couldn't even hang with them earlier.
Yeah, Elliott has also started to look a lot better. I mean, when we saw Larson going back through the field here, it took him a moment to get around Chase Elliott. And earlier in this race, I mean, even though Chase Elliott was in the top three and one of the guys that we thought could be competitive, he certainly didn't have the same amount of speed as Kyle Busch or Larson. And he's looked a lot better since then. I mean, and as soon as we start mentioning that, all of a sudden Kyle Busch is running away
He's
again.
losing
So
time.
every time we talk about something, the exact opposite starts happening. I swear, every single race it happens this season.
Commentators curses Kyle Busch is having a great race. Hasn't been a part of a single crash, and at this point, I don't think I could see him being a part of a crash, Jay. Now, as Kyle Larson leads the way in turns
we're going to
3.
see him wreck in 5 laps.
It's just a matter of time now, as Larson tries to continue to open up that gap, coming at 26 laps to go. You do see a little bit of damage there on that 5 car, but clearly that is not affecting his progress whatsoever as he continues to open up that gap to now 1.6 seconds. As we look throughout the field, I mean, Jay, at this point in stage 1, when we had about 25 laps to go, I'd say out of the 39 cars in the field, probably 36, 37 of them were in pristine condition. And now we have 39 cars, and I would say maybe 3 or 4 are in pristine condition. What a difference a stage can make here at Martinsville.
Yeah, there's certainly some lap down cars that still have decent cars, but I mean, they're out of contention. They don't have a chance. Of the guys that still have a chance, I think it's really only Chase Elliott, maybe Kyle Busch. I think Kyle Busch might have a little bit of damage, and I don't know if there's anyone else that doesn't have damage. I mean, it's just these guys have been running into each other like crazy, and it's what you expect of Martinsville. Even without the incidents, you expect these guys to be giving each other the bumper all the time and hitting each other and beating and banging and all that kind of stuff. So it's not surprising at all that we have a lot of guys with damage here. But I will say the one thing that is surprising is maybe to see that we only have, 13 cars, I think you said, on the lead lap now, and that's something
12.
I wouldn't expect to happen here at all. 12 now.
Due to the one
So that's
car.
something you really don't expect to be happening here, at least not this early.
Kyle Larson continuing to drive away. You see currently 30th place Ryan Blaney. Unfortunate for him, he almost locked himself into the playoffs at Phoenix when he lost in a photo finish against his Penske teammate of Joey Logano. He's had some strong runs recently as well, but clearly tonight not going in the direction he would prefer. As you look through the rest of the field right now, De Benedetto 16 laps down, Newman 21. They've both been coming in and out of the pit lane lap after lap. The 10 car got a DQ of Eric Almirola and Ty Dillon, currently in last place out of the races. Kyle Larson almost up to 3 seconds ahead. He is closing in on lap traffic, but now Logano's actually gotten past the 9 of Elliott just about here as they go down into turns 1. But very baffled, Jay. You would think that Elliott would have just tried to move up to the outside and pass at 18 by now, but he's just been kind of riding behind him. So coming to 20 to go, I mean, what's he got to do here to pass at 18?
Yeah, it's kind of like the same thing we saw earlier with Larson just sticking himself behind the 20 for no apparent reason and losing a lot of ground to Kyle Busch. It's kind of the same thing that's happening here with Chase Elliott. I think he really is faster than Kyle right now. I don't know if something's wrong with the car or what, but I think he truly does have the better pace, and it's just for some reason he's choosing to keep himself behind Kyle. When, I mean, you also see him there going to the outside line. You really get a good run down the straightaways when you're in that line. So I really think he needs to go up there and try and get around Kyle on that line.
Now, actually, once again, under attack from Bubba Wallace, who just actually drove into the back of the 9 car right there, did a little bit of damage to the rear end. So these drivers starting to pick up the intensity, get a little bit more physical right there. Bubba saying, I'm not going to let you just pull down in front of me like that. He still actually does remain clear of the 23, but now you do see a little bit of damage on the back of that 9 car as Kyle Busch now at 3.1 seconds last time by, now 3.28 seconds behind Kyle Larson. That's with a perfectly clear track for Kyle now as Larson continues to lead the way here in the final 18 laps of the second stage. Elliott, he's now trying to make a move to the inside of Joey Logano. Got to be a little bit surprised by Joey today, Jay. I mean, clearly we see he has the speed, but not in the top 10, and he's quite a ways down the order at this point down there. And I'm looking through it somewhere. I can see that number 22 as he has an interesting moment. Oh, what happened there? Chase Elliott on the grass. Wow. Caution is out. Caution's out on the track. Oh, it's Cody Ware. Make sure, where's Kyle Larson? I see a whole bunch of damage.
Got big damage.
The 12. It's going to be interesting to see right here if they have that stack up issue. As I'm looking, Ryan Blaney. Okay, they're okay. Here we go. This is where we're really keeping an eye on things. Larson, are they going to come to the pit lane? Absolutely. Honestly, Jay, they were kind of spread out enough. They were okay.
Yeah, I think everybody's going to be okay here. I'm not too sure if we're going to have any issues. We may have some with the lap cars, but I think the leaders are all going to be okay. Because there's certainly some major damage there to the 51 of Cody Ware.
My guess is it was an incident with Gregson.
The 62 and possibly the 12.
Oh,
Ryan Newman.
Pit situation, by the way, Chase Elliott just coming into his pit box now, as we saw him just slow down very awkwardly, but this is going to set up for a late stage restart for the decision of who wins it now. As Kyle Larson exits his pit box, he will win the race off of the pit lane. Once everybody goes through, they can go.
Maybe, I don't know what he's doing here.
Oh, he just turned into the... Oh, Kyle Busch is going to get it then. No damage,
Yeah, they got the red light at the end of pit row. They were not clear to go, and for some reason Larson did not angle himself right to get the run once the light went green. So Kyle Busch will be the leader.
Wow, Larson might have just blown a stage victory away now as we're going to get a look at what just brought out a caution late in stage 2 here at Martinsville Speedway under the lights. Ryan Blaney, a part of another incident here today at Martinsville. Right here, you're going to see him just hook the 47 after some contact with LaJoie. Big hit there to the inside wall, and then boom, the 51 of Cody Ware and the 34 McDowell plow in, Quinn Half, and a couple other cars, including the leader of Kyle Larson, just barely squeezed by, bringing out caution number 3 on the night here at Martinsville Speedway. And we're back to the live scene here from Martinsville Speedway. It is going to be a 10-lap dash to decide the results of Stage 2. Currently, you see Eric Jones rounds out the top 10. We saw him get junked earlier. Daniel Suarez up to P6. Bubba Wallace had a situation on the pit lane. He is no longer on the lead lap. He is actually 24th place instead of up at towards the top 5 as the 17 has moved up into P4 as we're going to get back underway with actually 11 laps to go, not 10, as we are back underway for the green flag in stage 2. But Jay, we've been kind of seeing some leapfrogging here on the pit lane between Kyle Busch and Kyle Larson. On the pit stop earlier, we saw Larson overtake Kyle Busch. Now Kyle Busch has overtaken Kyle Larson. So this could be a great way for him to potentially steal the stage 2 victory.
Yeah, I think that once Larson gets around Logano, though, I think we'll see him easily get around Kyle Busch. I mean, Kyle was just struggling for pace so badly on that last run that unless maybe they got some adjustments done here and changed something on that car, I really do think that Larson has enough time to easily get around Kyle Busch here.
There you see Newman and De Benedetto once again coming out of the pit lane for about 7 seconds and returning right away. Now, as Alex Bowman, currently the first car a lap down, he's continuing to just slowly move his way up there into P12 now. But to my surprise, Logano has cleared the 5 of Larson. I honestly didn't expect that. But look, Jake, Logano might be the one driver that could put himself in position to actually get a lap back, but he's actually 3 laps down, so it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think Hamlin is really still the one who needs to take advantage of that, and I don't even know if he's anywhere near doing that now. So Logano's certainly showing that he does have some speed in that car. He's just unfortunately caught a couple laps down. But I mean, he gets 1 lap back here, and maybe he can come back and get another one if he truly does have a better pace to do it. But there's another guy who's also up towards the front of those lap cars, Alex Balman, who really does need to get around Chastain right now and maybe see that if he can go and do something with these leaders up here. But I don't think he has the pace to do so. But I mean, we're not going to see him do anything if he's still stuck behind Chastain.
A lot of work there to do for that 48.
He's actually gotten some damage to the rear.
He does, yeah. Everybody's picking up damage on both ends tonight, right now, as we come through to 6 laps to go in stage 2. 6 laps, a very short period of time at a track like Martinsville, and it takes, for these cars, about 23 seconds to get around now as Logano continues to run there in second on the track, but not actually in the running order now, as Elliott actually trying to put some pressure on his teammate Kyle Larson right now as they come through down this front straightaway. But clearly, this is exactly what Kyle Busch, likes to see. He's got a buffer of Joey Logano in between him and third place of Larson, who's also under attack from his Hendrick Motorsports teammate of Chase Elliott now, as you continue to see these two just pitting, coming out, coming back in. A very unique strategy for them. But at the end of the day, if they maybe get a few crucial points that helps them get into the playoffs, then it will be worth it. And you'll think back to a track like this and remember this moment of them staying or toughing it out and getting as many points as they could out of it. But Jay, I think that Kyle Busch is just setting sail at this point. He clearly doesn't have the fastest car, but there's no way Kyle Larson, I think, is going to be able to do anything now.
Yeah, Larson got stuck behind Logano, and I just don't know if maybe they made some kind of adjustment on that car to try for this run to see if it would work, and it's certainly not, or if him just being in that much dirty air is affecting him or something. I don't really know what's going on. I did not see this coming at all, so I have to think that something maybe changed with the way that car is handling or something, especially with the way that we saw Kyle Busch running there towards, like I mentioned in that run. I mean, he was looking so slow. He was slower than Logano and Chase Elliott, I thought, and now Larson is the one being passed and falling his way down the order.
That outside still showing the advantage that it has as Kyle Busch approaches the final lap of stage 2. William Byron is actually past the 17 of Chris Buescher, so Byron moving his way through the field, kind of a bit of a surprise now as we come through to start the final lap of stage 2. We get the yellow flag command in, and this will sure enough be the last lap now as Kyle Busch leads the way. Chase Elliott and Larson still side by side for that second position. Honestly, did not see this one coming here now as Larson, I mean, this has actually been about the worst he's run all day, is P3 as we come to out of turns for Kyle Busch, and Elliott sure enough clears the 5, so Kyle Busch wins stage 2, sweeps the first 2 stages. Chase Elliott gets Kyle Larson at the last moment for that second position here. So William Byron rounds out the top 4, Buescher top 5. But Jay, I mean, we got 3 Hendrick Motorsports cars right now in the top 4. So definitely, I mean, a track you expect that team to run well at. They're really showing up today. I mean, even Alex Balman having a rough day, but still P12. But other than that, the three cars of the 24, the 5, and the 9 all having tremendous runs for HMS today.
Yeah, running really well. Is there some strategy here being played by Chase Elliott's team? I'm not too sure if this is a good thing or not. I don't know what the reasoning is behind this, but very good run for Hendrick Motorsports so far. I mean, obviously you mentioned there Alex Bowman having a rough day, but he's at least still in the top 15, which for him so far this season is exceptional. Um, so Martinsville is just a track where you always expect Hendrick to do well, and I mean Larson so far has seemed to be the most dominant car, but I don't know what they did there that run, but it seems like they need to go back on it and make different adjustments.
And you're going to see the 18 potentially win the race out of the pit lane. It depends what happens right here. They can't go yet. Oh, it's William Byron. Wow. William Byron overtook both of them there, and he is going to be the one that wins the race off of the pit lane. But does that matter? Because the 9 of Chase Elliott, for some reason, elected to stay out on the track. And yes, sure enough, he stays out. I mean, Jay, we did have a lot of short runs there. We had some pit stops. So honestly, I think it's not a terrible call from the 9. And honestly, maybe he's thinking, get out in front in that clean air and let everybody else deal with the lap traffic. And then he, on that disadvantage of staying out, can kind of make up for it when he's driving away from everyone stuck in the traffic.
Yeah, there's 150 laps left in this race, and they pitted about 10 or so laps ago, so really 160 laps, and they can go 70 laps. So I'm trying to think of reasoning why they would stay out, and I really can't, because it's not like he's saving a pit stop here. Uh, if anything, he's really creating another pit stop, because they can only go about 140 on 2 stops, and he's trying to go 160. So or on 1 stop, sorry. So he's gonna have to make 2 stops if we go green. So I can't really I can't really see why they would do this. This is kind of a bonehead decision in my opinion.
A weird call, to say the least. Now, as so it will be Elliott leading the way, as Hendrick Motorsports now is 1, 2, 3. Did not expect William Byron to move himself up into the second position as we get ready here for the start of this third and final stage. We've kind of seen Byron actually just running decent here today as we got cars once again running into each other. But honestly, Jay, Byron, kind of like Chris Buescher earlier in the race, we were seeing move his way up a little bit here and there. But Byron clearly doing way better than the 17 is right now, as we will be going green this time to start this third and final stage. But honestly, we could see Byron somehow sneak in a victory today.
Yeah, we haven't seen him. I keep saying yeah every time you go to me. We haven't seen him actually have a good pace so far, so I don't know if this is going to stick with him being up here. But I mean, he also hasn't had the opportunity to be up front and have clean air and have the chance of taking the lead. So who knows? Once he's up here, maybe he stays up here. He's certainly ran well all day long. I just don't know if he's got the pace of Chase Elliott or Kyle Busch or Kyle Larson. So I mean, we'll find out here pretty soon.
You have the points on you right now, do you? Is he in the playoffs currently?
Give me a second. I'll bring it up.
Green flag is out,
Thought
though.
I had it still pulled up. I did not
To
have it pulled up.
start
There we go.
stage 3, we'll let Jay come up with that here in a second. I don't know if he's in the playoffs or not right now, because my phone is
Byron
dead,
is
so I don't
in the
have it.
playoffs. He is about 30 points above the Kurt Busch right now, who's the last one in.
Okay, so he's actually doing a decent job so far as they come through out of turns for Elliott, leading the way, and I think it's going to be crucial here for him to clear that 22 of Joey Logano. Honestly, Jay, I think with this kind of cycle of Elliott staying out, Byron overtaking Kyle Busch, this might have honestly been the end of us seeing Kyle Busch really be a true contender, because we know he didn't have the fastest car, and now he's down in 4th, and he's got to deal with all these lap cars. He very well can maybe be written off for the night.
We'll see him certainly get around these lap cars here, I think, at some point, and then we'll be able to judge what kind of pace he has. But yeah, I kind of agree with you. I think we may have seen him lead his last lap here. I mean, just as much as he was struggling earlier, and now we've got 300 cars right here up towards the front. We know how good Larson is. We know how good Chase Elliott is, and we're finding out right now how good Byron is. So I think Kyle Busch might have led his last lap of the day, but I certainly don't think he's going to fall out of the top 5. He's had too good of a car to do that.
Nonetheless, a huge day for that 18 team as they have picked up 20 points in the first two stages, maximum points for that team, and that's crucial as they've had a horrible season so far and need as many points as possible if they're going to make it into the playoffs. Now, as we're also seeing, we saw Joey Logano a lap down up in the mix, but we're now seeing that 48 of Alex Bowman. Honestly, Jay, if Bowman was on the lead lap, he'd be having a great run right now. I mean, even not on the lead lap, he's still running P12, which is a superb run for that team, but clearly they've got a lot of speed in that car now.
Yeah, he's made some kind of adjustments. I swear I gotta stop doing that. He's made some kind of adjustments, and he's having a lot better run than he was having. I mean, 30th, around 30th place earlier in this race in stage 1. And, I mean, obviously he's stuck a lap down still, but, I mean, he's running 12th, and he's keeping up with the leaders, at least for now. So he's certainly done something. I think maybe he's piggybacking off of his teammates a bit and making or going off of their adjustments and stuff. And he's maybe using some information from them to get himself some better speed. And it's working so far. I mean, if Logano can get his lap back here and then he can follow Logano, that's that'll be really good for him if we can get a late race caution and he's back on the lead lap. But I don't know if that'll happen at all. I don't foresee that happening. But it's certainly something I'm sure he's looking at right now and hoping that it does.
I think if I'm Chase Elliott, I'm a little bit scared because he's been out in clean air and he hasn't pulled a gap whatsoever now as Byron's actually starting to get close to pressuring him. And if Larson can get clear of that 22, then he's going to have a good chance to probably be all over those guys. Now, as I was actually noticing, Bubba Wallace quite a ways down the field now. He's having a really rough race all of a sudden. Still in P24, but he is now stuck in behind a lot of traffic, unfortunately, as he's trying to work his way back through the field. But there you see the situation for the lead right now. Byron up the inside, almost to the inside. He is going to look up the inside for a brief moment there, but couldn't quite make anything happen. Loses a lot of ground there, actually. It's going to get cleared by the 22, nearly cleared by his Hendricks Motorsports teammate of Kyle Larson, but into turn 3, he just sends it into the corner now as Elliott just can't seem to pull away. And honestly, Jay, that could very well be at the disadvantage of him not pitting there, as he just doesn't have the tires and the speed in that car to be able to pull away now at this point.
Those tires, I think, will eventually even out here as we get probably 10 or more laps into this run. So I think that advantage these guys have on tires will slowly go away. But yeah, it certainly does seem like that's affecting him right now, especially with Logano. I mean, we saw him having the pace earlier, but he seems like he's a tad bit faster than Chase right now. He's just not able to get around him. And Byron, I mean, all of a sudden is showing really good paces. He's again going to make the look here off of turn 2. But I think Byron just keeps clipping that curb a little bit on the exit of turn 2, and it's causing him to have to let off the gas. And that's where he's losing so much ground.
Yeah, he's been taking looks, right? Like right here, he's trying to show his nose into turns 1, but once again, I don't think it's going to work out. Once again, he gets there, but like you mentioned there, Jay, it does seem like he's kind of clipping the curb, and it's kind of really messing up his exit as Kyle Larson briefly gets clear of that 48, but he continues to actually stay up to the top and ride behind that 22 of Joey Logano.
I think Byron made a mistake a second ago when he got past Logano on the front straightaway. He should have immediately taken himself to the outside line and tried to get around Chase in the outside line. I mean, I think he's got the better pace at the moment, and that outside line is shown to have the stronger run off the corners. So he really should have taken advantage of that, and I think the fact that he didn't is probably going to cost him here. I don't think he's going to be able to make a run on Chase Elliott without getting to that outside line.
Yeah, that 22 really, I think, is going to have a big effect here on how this race is decided. Now, is actually, you see Kyle Larson drop down to the inside as well, like William Byron. So is he going to now be put in the same situation? I mean, if Byron can't get past that 22, there's no way Kyle Larson is going to be able to either, because he's going to be stuck behind his teammate as Kyle Busch, now under attack from his brother of Kurt Busch. That is not for position. Currently, the closest car to position from Kyle is Chris Buescher directly behind him, and then Daniel Suarez in P6. Chase Briscoe, Jay, we were talking about earlier, having a rough season, having a rough day. As a rookie, now inside the top 10. So he's turning this into a pretty good run. You look at a rookie at Martinsville, we don't necessarily ever expect a rookie to have a great run here. I think back to Chase Elliott, he made, I think, his first ever Cup Series start at Martinsville Speedway, and he didn't even finish in the top 25. So you never really expect much from a rookie here.
I think in that race that Chase started, I believe he had some kind of issue. I think that was out of his control, if I remember correctly. I might be remembering wrong, but I'm pretty sure something happened that race that caused him to kind of had a bad finish. But I mean, Briscoe's, I think, taking advantage of the situation a bit. I mean, we weren't seeing him run that well earlier, and he just kind of kept himself clean and kept himself on the lead lap. And I mean, at this point, with only 12 laps on the 12 cars on the lead lap, excuse me, if you keep yourself clean, you're going to have a good run. So I mean, he's really taking advantage of a lot of these guys having issues, and I mean, that's good for him. He's getting the points that he needs, and I don't know. I don't know where he's at playoff wise, but this certainly is going to help him no matter what with the playoff picture.
We're seeing quite a few guys that are not having good points runs right now actually have some decent runs today, like the 48 of Alex Balman, who's not in the top 10 but still runs. Actually, P13, he has been passed by Kurt Busch, and that is for position. Kurt has a very solid car, and he's showing that because he's continuing to get up into the picture right now, still battling with that 48. But Kyle Busch, of course, winning both stage 1 as well as stage 2, and then there you see in the top 10, like Jay was just mentioning, the 14 of Chase Briscoe. Even Tyler Reddick having a good run. He's kind of right on the bubble area right now. Cole Custer's already got a win this season at Homestead, Miami, but without that victory, he actually would not even be in the playoffs right now. But here he is having a top 10 run. But of course, it doesn't matter for him. With that win, he is locked in anyways. As we look throughout the order, we haven't really had lap traffic come into an effect since stage 1 because we had cautions sporadically through stage 2, but you see drivers like Kevin Harvick really struggling here today, now down in 27th place. And Jay, the rough season, it's hard to call it a rough season because, I mean, Harvick has the most wins of anybody right now, but, I mean, he has had a stretch of races he just cannot catch a break. I mean, today just caught up in somebody else's mess once again.
Every single week, it's the same theme for him. He won those first 2 races, and he's just had issues every single week since. And unfortunately for him, that's going to really start hurting him here, playoff point wise, because I mean that's something that I'm sure he wants to have more of. And right now, he's not going to be getting any more of those. I mean, he's missing out on a ton of them, being a quarter of the way through, or quarter of the way or so through the regular season, and he's really missed out on playoff points every single race, aside from the Daytona 500 and Daytona Road Course.
William Byron passes the 9 of Chase Elliott, actually, as we come through out of turns 2 down the back straightaway into turn 3. So William Byron moves through to the lead. I looked up at the leaderboard and I saw the gap was 0.02. I was like, oh, they must have been side by side. Sure enough, Byron clears the 9, and it looks like Chase Elliott, he's going to get passed by the 22 of Logano, and I don't even think, oh, no, he will get a decent run, but no, he's still cleared by the 22. All of a sudden, Jay, you were mentioning earlier maybe the tire advantage that the other guys had would kind of I guess even out, but it almost seems like it's going in the opposite direction. That 9 car is all of a sudden falling off a ton as the 5 is even going to go by.
I really do think that the 22 was possibly holding these guys up a lot. I mean, it really did seem like that Byron. I mean, he was constantly diving in on Chase Elliott in turns 1 and 2. He just could not go anywhere. So I really think that was probably the thing that was holding them up, was Chase Elliott using Logano as a pick and just kind of keeping these guys at bay. And then once Byron was able to get around them, that was when these guys are able to finally get around Chase Elliott, because I think, compared at least to Kyle Larson, and I guess compared to William Byron as well, Chase Elliott does not have the same pace as them, and also being on those older tires will hurt him. It won't. I think that had Byron gotten around him early in the run, we probably would have seen him run way away from these guys, a lot more than he is now. But another thing that I want to mention, nice job pulling a Fox there, looking at somebody back in 30th place and missing a pass for the lead.
Yeah, I when I looked at the leaderboard, I was like, oh, something's got to be happening here. So I tried to get there as quick
Wait
as
a
I could.
second. Another thing we're missing is Logano getting his lap back here.
Yeah, clears the 24. So now Logano goes from 3 laps down. He should be 2 laps down once they cross the line there. Yes, sure enough, 2 laps down for Logano. That's the first driver I think we've seen today actually just go up there, drive by the leader, and take their lap back. And
I think that's
honestly,
one of the first we've seen do it all season.
yeah, I think you're right, actually. Honestly, I think the 22 is proving he's probably the fastest car here tonight.
Yeah, I think he's got the best car right now. He certainly does. I mean, he drove right around Byron, and he's been sticking up towards these guys ever since the middle of stage 2. So certainly looking like he's got a really good car at the moment. As Kurt Busch has gotten around Chase Elliott now as well.
That 9 car is struggling hard. He's about to lose a spot to Kyle Busch, who's going to just cruise actually right on by. He's already about a car length ahead into turn 3. Kurt Busch setting a good pace here. Obviously, a driver a lap down. We think he had a potential loose wheel issue or something, but he currently runs in that 12th position right now. So Kyle Larson, though, has run down William Byron as we are closing in towards the final 100 laps here at Martinsville now, as Logano is driving away here at the paperclip solo. Can Larson make a pass on that 24? We're going to find out. We are going to go to a quick break here, though, from Martinsville Speedway and come back and bring you to the end of this race here at Martinsville Speedway under the lights. Welcome back here from Martinsville Speedway, approaching 100 laps to go. William Byron still out front over his teammate of Kyle Larson. Now as you see Byron right behind Logano, who got his lap back, but Byron actually ran him back down after they were stuck in some lap traffic. But Larson trying to make a move here for the lead. You're seeing Kurt Busch a lap down as well, close in on these front two leaders, and if he can pass them, he'll be actually back on the lead lap. Currently, Jay has actually had to take a break for a couple of minutes. He is away feeding his dog, so he'll be back here in just a few moments. So it is just a single man booth here for a moment now. So I actually might as well just take this time to thank you all for just taking the time out of your day to watch this episode, as well as all the other episodes on the channel of the NR2003 season and series. And if you guys enjoy, make sure to check out stuff like my career mode on the channel for NASCAR Heat 5, as well as make sure to check out the Nitro Racing League, which returns at the end of April as Kyle Busch moves through to the second position. He is working his way back up now as Kyle Larson is stuck behind that 78 right now of BJ McLeod, and he actually might just continue to fall down the order now as he can't seem to find a hole into that inside. So Byron continues though to lead the way, but it has been so far a fantastic experience kind of doing this NR 2003 thing. We've been very new to it. It's something I've always wanted to do in the past, and it was cool to finally get to be able to do this year in 2021. So it's been cool, and I hope you guys have enjoyed it, because every week something crazy seems to happen, and honestly I wouldn't count out William Byron or something leading this race and getting taken out or something before it comes to a close. It's really cool to see. The AI aren't perfect, but that's kind of what makes it so much fun to do now, as I thought we were actually about to have a crash right there. You saw some three-wide racing between Byron, the 47 of Stenhouse, and the 00 of Quinn Houff. Now as Logano starting to pull away a little bit here. So there you're seeing Byron just try to work his way through that traffic as Kyle Busch continues to run P2. Kyle Larson did get to the bottom, so he is still holding on to that third position as Chase Elliott now making a pit stop. This should be a scheduled pit stop here. He does have to come in earlier than everybody else. So if a caution comes out before everybody else has to pit, that's the end of the day for Chase Elliott. But he was already falling off a ton due to staying out at the end of stage 2. So he makes that pit stop, and now he's going to have quite the advantage here for the next handful of laps while these guys continue actually to stay out. But I look to see these guys come into the pit lane pretty shortly here now, as there's less than 100 laps to go as Kyle Busch has run down the 24 of William Byron as they come through out of turns 4. So Byron kind of seems to be falling off a little bit here now as Larson's trying to get back up into the mix as well. Chase Briscoe, he's having a decent run here now, actually up into the 5th position. As you see, the 17, of course, Busch are running currently in P4 now as William Byron runs down the back of the 52. I thought there was about to be a moment there with the 52 and the 47. Fortunately, nothing came out of that right now as we come through turns 3 and 4. But definitely leave in the comments if you're watching at this point what so far has been your favorite moment of the series so far. Personally, for me, I was a huge fan of the moment where Kevin Harvick was leading at Las Vegas, and then actually he got taken out by a lap car of Quinn Houff, and I thought that was just a crazy moment right now as you're seeing the 24 of Byron try to pass that 52, kind of struggling right now as they come through 3 and 4. Kyle Busch could find himself back up in the lead, which I did not expect. You heard myself and Jay mention at the start of stage 3, we thought it was the end of Kyle Busch's chances of winning this race, but here he is now in the mix, trying to put the pressure on William Byron, who should, though, be able to get clear of that 52 of Josh Bilicki here as we come through out of turns 2 down the back straightaway. Sure enough, Byron clear. Kyle Busch kind of stuck. Byron, though, comes into the pit lane now on lap 207, just over 90 laps to go, which means they cannot make it to the end of this race. Everybody currently has to make at least one more pit stop after this upcoming one. So Byron onto the pit lane here for some green flag pit stops for the first time since stage one. I do hear Jay has returned. Jay, while you were gone, Kyle Busch actually got past Kyle Larson, who got stuck stuck behind JJ Yeley. So that was a bit of an interesting one. Kyle was actually putting some pressure on Byron too before Byron had just come into the pit lane. The nine also came into the pit lane, Jay. So pit stops are starting to get underway, and I can confirm they will all have to pit still one more time. It looks like after this upcoming stop.
Yeah, it certainly does seem like that Larson's getting really stuck behind some of these guys here, which is not good for him at all. Uh, that's not ideal for him at all. He's also probably trying to pit right now, and he can't.
That could cause a crash in itself too. We saw Eric Almirola try to get down what we thought was him trying to get down to the pit lane earlier and cause an incident. So Larson, I mean, up there on the outside, you see Byron. He's made his pit stop. He's under attack from his teammate Chase Elliott, who gained a lot of ground, but they are not trying to waste any time now. But Larson can't stay out too long, as it appears Hamlin's going to pit with Quinn. How if that gets a little bit close, Bowman as well, but fortunately nothing comes out of it now. But I mean, now, honestly, Jay, everybody still has to pit one more time no matter what. So I guess that strategy call from the 19 wasn't, I guess, the worst idea in the world. But you can kind of see what they were trying to do. But obviously, it didn't work because they lost so much time, anyways.
Yeah, he lost a lot of time there towards the end, which I mean, him being right there on William Byron right now, I guess, depending on maybe if Byron lost a lot of time himself on pit road, which it doesn't seem like he did at all, considering how far ahead they are of Kyle Busch. What in the world? How did that happen? But it seems like it certainly didn't help, or certainly didn't hurt in the long run, like we kind of thought it would. I mean, especially with how much he was losing time there. But Kyle Larson may have just kind of hurt himself even more. He was already losing ground, and then on top of that, he stayed out a good bit longer than these guys, and they were already getting past him before he pitted.
Yeah, Kyle Busch actually lost the position to Daniel Suarez as well, so very poor pit stop from them. There you see Larson now just putting the left sides on, as the leaders are already going down towards turn three. So it seems like Byron, he actually was the first to pit of the top three. Came in, what, 4 or 5 laps earlier. Chase Elliott came in quite a bit earlier. But now, I mean, Larson, he's going to have a tremendous tire advantage, and even Kyle Busch has a tire advantage right now. But they probably now, Jay, might need a caution to get themselves back into it, because I don't know if they thought about how much lap traffic they're going to have to fight through to even get into the mix.
Even if they have a tire advantage, I mean, just look at this amount of cars in front of Kyle Larson. Byron and Elliott right now are pretty much in clear air, and Larson is immediately stuck into just behind a giant group of cars. So tire advantage or no tire advantage, that's going to really hurt him a lot.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Larson, he is going to be P8 when this cycles out, as the 33 of Cindric is just coming through into his pit box right now as you see him. So honestly, I think staying out late was not the right call, as you can already see the tire situation kind of playing towards William Byron against Chase Elliott, as Elliott has already a lot more laps against that 24 on tires. So Byron, honestly, right here, might have played it perfect. He came in maybe 3 to 4 laps, I think it was 3, 4, 5 laps earlier than the other guys around him. And honestly, Jay, I think that might have been the perfect call, because he's almost straight away ahead of Kyle Busch.
Yeah, he got really lucky there also with how the lap cars played out. If he had came out behind lap cars, kind of like Kyle Busch or Larson did, that would have hurt him a lot. And he got really lucky that he didn't. And I think that's the biggest thing. I'm not even so sure that the tires opened him that much. I think it's just really that he had clean track and these guys didn't.
Daniel Suarez currently runs in the third position here at the paperclip. We've seen some strong speed from this Trackhouse racing team this season in their first season. Both 2311 and Trackhouse have had their ups and downs so far in real life and in our NR2003 season. But Jay, we've also seen Suarez have some weird moments before some of these races. I think back to the Daytona 500, he actually put the car on the wall on the pace lap, ended up going a lap down right off the bat. We've seen him 2 other races, I believe now, have some issues before the race got started, and he's given up some crucial points. And here he is now, though, having a great rebound at Martinsville, currently running up here in the top three.
Yeah, mechanical issues I think are the biggest thing that have hurt that team so far this season. They're just outside of the playoffs, and if he can stay where he is right now, or really even in the top 5, that's going to be big for him, because the people in front of him, Tyler Reddick is down there in 7th, and then Kurt Busch is a lap down. around 12th position or so. And so Suarez is 15 points off of Kurt Busch right now for the last spot in the playoffs. And I think with the way this stays, he's going to make up a lot of ground. And I'm not a math expert, so I think I'm going to be wrong when I say this, but he could potentially be in the playoffs after this race if things stay the way they are.
Absolutely could be now, as we have just 81 laps to go, 80 when they come around one more time. Kyle Larson down in P8. Very surprising. Of the drivers towards the front that made their pit stops, Larson clearly in the worst position now. So very unfortunate for him. I think, Jay, another example of a potential race that has gotten away from him.
Certainly, another one that just added to that list of races that he's done like that this season. I mean, I think he's been in contention to win pretty much every race this season, and he's certainly been the dominant car of 3 or 4 of them, including this one. And it's really always, it's just been something of his doing for the most part that has kind of thrown them away. I mean, there's been a couple times he's gotten stuck behind lap cars weren't really of his doing, and he just couldn't get around them because they were kind of being nuisances in the way. But this time, this was his own team strategy and pitting him late and putting him behind all these lap cars, and it's really, really cost him. And unless there's a caution, I think he has no chance now, especially being 14 and a half seconds behind. I mean, that's insurmountable. There's no way he makes that up.
And Byron just hoping it stays green at this point because the 9 car has a tire disadvantage, has nothing for him, and then he has 5 seconds, almost 5.5 seconds over third place with Daniel Suarez, who still has to work his way through a lot more traffic than Byron does right now, where Byron has a decently clear track for at least the time being here. That will change in just a couple laps, but yeah, 24 car driving away, and there it is, 5.5 seconds now to the 99 of Daniel Suarez. Chase Briscoe has now worked his way up to P5, Buescher P6, Reddick, Larson, Custer, and Austin Cindric rounds out the top 10. Now, as we are going to go to another break here at Martinsville Speedway under the lights, and hopefully bring you back to the finish of this race now, as we have just about 75 laps to go when they come around one more time. Welcome back to Martinsville Speedway. Caution is out. While we were on break, we pulled a typical Fox, and now you are seeing the leaders come into the pit lane of William Byron, Chase Elliott, Daniel Suarez, Kyle Busch, and all of them. Now, as Suarez and Kyle were actually running down the 9 of Elliott, but Byron was long gone. But now we're going to have a restart here with a little bit over 50 laps to go. We'll get, of course, a look at what just brought out that caution, but that just came out of absolutely nowhere. We didn't even know there was a caution until we saw everybody stacking up out of turns 2 now, as there you see the 21 of Matt Benedetto. But now we're going to watch what's going on the pit lane here about where's that 24 of Kyle, or the 24 of William Byron, already out of his pit box, and he is gone. So
he got the green light right at the perfect time.
Wow.
That was really good for that team.
Elliott got it too. Suarez is already gone. Kyle Busch, Briscoe.
Maybe getting some damage repair there for Kyle Busch. I mean, that was a really long pit stop. And Larson, unless they were just that far behind on the pit stops, which I mean, I guess makes sense considering how far they were on the behind on the track.
So Byron remains as the leader, I believe. Yes, sure enough, he does. So now we're going to get a quick look at what just brought out the caution here midway through the third and final stage. Kyle Busch, the culprit of this caution right here, he actually turned Ryan Newman on the exit of turns 4 right there. Newman's been a roadblock the whole day, and well, he just turned the 6 car right around out of turns 4. And 18 needed that caution, and he got it himself right there by taking out the 6 car. So I guess we can count Kyle Busch as involved in an incident today, finally, as it was looking like we'd go a whole race without the 18 being even in the mix of a caution here. But now, caution's out at Martinsville Speedway with William Byron out in front. Back to the live scene, though, from Martinsville Speedway. We will be going green with a little bit over 50 laps to go, and honestly, that is not a long time at a track like Martinsville Speedway when it takes these cars about here 22-23 seconds to get around this track. So not a lot of time left to get anything done. Jay, honestly, now everybody equal tires. Does Chase Elliott have a chance maybe to get William Byron, or do you think Byron's going to run away with it here as we get back under green?
I think this is going to be the time where we see how good of a car Byron truly has. I really didn't think that he had a good car when he originally got up here to the lead, and I mean, I think it was just a tire situation in the strategy that kind of kept him in the lead, in my opinion. I think we'll quickly see if Chase Elliott truly does have the quicker car to get around him, which I think he does. But who knows? I mean, maybe Byron's made adjustments that now that he's been in the lead, he knows what his car needs to stay in clean air. I mean, who knows? Maybe he truly does have a decent car now. And I mean, Suarez there in third. I'll be interested to see, keep an eye on that if Kyle Busch can get around him, or if Suarez can maybe challenge Chase Elliott for second place.
Yeah, don't count out that Trackhouse team. We saw him under a lot of pressure earlier from Kyle Busch before that caution came out. So we know that the 18 has some speed still in that car, but he hasn't quite been the same. Hasn't been leading any laps since he lost it there when Chase Elliott stayed out at the end of stage 2. But this is the first time we're really seeing that 9 have equal tires, you could say, to the 24 of William Byron since stage 2. So it'll be interesting here as Byron's opening up about a 2 car length gap of Suarez. He's just sending her off in there and actually appears to be closing in on the back of the 9 of Chase Elliott right now. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Chase Briscoe, Jay, he's been continuing to move his way up now, actually up there into P5 with now only 10 cars remaining on the lead lap. But we're also looking at a guy like Tyler Reddick, Jay. I mean, he's having a great run here today. I guess that's probably not what Daniel Suarez wants to see, but I mean, a great day for Tyler Reddick.
Definitely a great day for him. I think that him and Suarez are two guys that are really taking advantage of guys having rough days so far. And it's really going to help them in the points, especially Suarez. You know, we were just talking about earlier him just falling out of the playoffs and needing to have a good run again after he was having the few mechanical issues that he's had so far this season. So if he can stay where he is, going to be a really good points day for him. I don't think that he'll be into the playoffs just with where Kurt is running and certainly where Reddick is running. I'm not even sure if Reddick will make up enough points to be in the playoffs. He's I think that Suarez is 18 out or 15 out, and Reddick is either 15 or 12 out. I can't recall exactly which, but it's one of those. So they'll definitely be a lot closer, if not right there on the bubble, to making it in. But I truly do think that we may see Briscoe fall down here a bit, just because there's a lot of time left here, and we know that one guy who's behind him who's very fast is Kyle Larson. I think we'll see him probably or I think we will see him make his way through the field here a little bit.
There you see another driver I've really noticed today, Brad Keselowski. He got in a little bit of trouble earlier, got caught up in some stuff, but he is really a driver, Jay, that we haven't really seen much of this season at all. He's been very quiet and hasn't really been in the mix for any of these wins. So, yeah, I mean, you got to look at a guy like him. I think he's in the playoffs right now, maybe right around the bubble or something like that. I don't know if you can confirm or not, but he's just been kind of so far having a bit of an off season.
Keselowski is just below Suarez. He's one
Okay.
point below Suarez, so he's 19 out of the playoffs. So yeah, he's had a bit of a rough season as well. I mean, really, that whole Penske organization, they kind of they either run really well altogether, or they all kind of stink. I mean, it's kind of been that way so far this season, except for Cindric. Last week at Bristol Dirt, we really either see all 4 Penske cars in the top 10 or in the top 15 looking really good, or we see all of them just having really bad days. And so far today, it's another one of those just really bad days, except for Cindric, once again, who I think is running in 10th place right now.
Yep. I mean, Keselowski is currently the best Penske car other than Cindric, which we will probably have him out actually of the series soon, hopefully within the next week or two, to make sure he doesn't really mess with that playoff grid, especially now as we know he does not plan to run the full season in IRL. So, but Keselowski, other than that, is the best Penske car right now. He's down in 22nd place. Logano in 28th, still 3 laps down. And then Ryan Blaney has actually retired from the race after being taken out in a couple different incidents here today. So unfortunate for Blaney and Almirola as well, but we're not really seeing this 24 of William Byron pull too far away from Chase Elliott. So now with 48 laps to go, it's definitely not over. And Jay, we've seen some decent speed here and there from the 9 car, but never really any race-winning speed. I mean, you look at the top 4, top 5. Actually, you know what? I looked through the top 10, and really, 9 of those cars jump out at me as drivers we haven't seen be race-winning contenders for the most part. I mean, the 41 did win a race, but he just kind of lucked into that at Miami. But the only one I look at in the top 10 is Kyle Larson, that's been on a regular basis contending for wins.
Just goes to show how many guys have had a lot of issues today. I mean, we haven't seen the Las Vegas type issues where we have, you know, the 20 car pileups and we have 15 guys DNF and all this kind of stuff. We've just seen a lot of guys get a lot of damage, and then some strategy stuff still from stage 1 is kind of looming as well for a lot of these guys that are a lap down like Joey Logano, who's multiple laps down, like Kurt Busch. There's some others in there as well that I can't think of, but so you really see these guys in the top 10 right now who are really taking advantage of a lot of guys having issues, and it's what they need. They don't necessarily need to win a race, but they need to have this top 10 run like some of these guys are having, like Tyler Reddick, like, well, actually, not really even Chris Buescher. Chris Buescher, as we mentioned before, is actually going to be the points leader after this race. But like Daniel Suarez, getting himself probably back into the playoffs or at least close to it. Kyle Busch, a guy who's outside looking into the playoffs right now, and William Byron, who of the 400 cars has ran probably third worst this season. So really, really good runs for a lot of these guys here in the top 10.
Just want to give credit to the guy that made this track, by the way. I think his name was like Christopher Bell on the StuNode website or whatever you pronounce it. But he actually just, I didn't even notice, modeled in the train to go by in the background on the railroad track, which I thought was really cool there. A nice little addition. So credit to him for that. Now, as we're seeing Elliott still be within reach of that 24 of William Byron, Suarez and Kyle Busch still running P3, P4. Not seeing any positions shake up here in the final 43 laps so far. Kyle Larson, you gotta look at him, just a disappointing night. Jay, we saw him throw away stage one there after being stuck behind Christopher Bell. We knew he had the speed, honestly, to win both stages, and now is not even in consideration for the race win. So, I mean, just like multiple other races this season, just a huge disappointment for that Hendrick Motorsports driver.
He's led a lot of laps this season. He's never led the right lap. He's thrown away multiple stages and multiple wins, and this is another one where he's done that. I mean, just really, really awful job of closing the deal out. He can lead just random laps. He can dominate a race, but he can't ever close the deal out. And I mean, I have to think at some point this season he'll get it done and he'll get a win. I mean, he's too good in that car this season to not do it. It's just, you look at the I think this is the 9th or 10th race of the season so far, 8th, 9th, somewhere around in there, and he probably could have won 5 of them, and hasn't done it so far. So I think that has to be the most frustrating for him so far this season. But he'll certainly, I think, get into victory lane at least once, if not multiple times, before this regular season is over.
I think when he eventually does win, it's just going to open the floodgates, and he's just going to keep on winning just based off the pace that team has. Now, he is currently trying to pass the 8 of Tyler Reddick and move himself at least up into P7, then try to attack potentially the 17 of Buescher for 6, and maybe go on and pass Chris Buescher to re-enter the top 5. But no matter what, Kyle Larson will need at least one more caution to even be considered in the mix here for this victory. Now, as the top 4 are starting to kind of get a little bit closer together, there was a lap car there. I believe that was J.J. Yaley, as you do see him right in front of Chase Briscoe right now as they go down towards turns 1. Here's a chance for maybe Larson to pass at 17 right now as they come through turns 1 and 2. But lap traffic, I guess, Jay, hasn't played as much of a role as we maybe both anticipated, because I mean there's been enough caution sporadically where it really hasn't been much of a factor, and I think it's made for an even better race for sometimes for this race lead to watch.
Yeah, especially when we were considering there early in stage 2, when a lot of these guys got damaged. The main thing I was thinking of is, oh boy, we're going to see a Las Vegas situation where we have a lot of guys with damage be slow, be in the way. Honestly, that hasn't really happened. And I'm happy about that, because I don't like seeing slow lap cars be in the way and kind of manipulate, for lack of a better term, manipulate the finishes. And so it's really nice to see that the damage isn't affecting these guys too much, and we're able to see a really nice fight here for the win. I mean, we have 4 guys right here that could win this race that are virtually almost under a blanket. I mean, under a blanket for Martinsville terms. And so it's been a really nice race. It's been a really good race, a really competitive race, and we've seen a lot of different guys lead laps as well.
I really like the way that 99 car of Daniel Suarez is looking right now, but it's going to be very hard for him to be able to pass that 9 of Chase Elliott, and then, of course, pass that 24 of William Byron, who took the lead and really hasn't looked back ever since he's gotten it. Now he isn't driving away to the extent that he did there earlier in this third stage, but that is also because the 9 car was at quite the significant disadvantage, and then the green flag pit stops kind of messed everything up here. But these guys should be good, I believe, to go to the end on fuel and whatnot, so no more pit stops. But I think if a caution comes out, you might see them elect to come into the pit lane now. But as I was mentioning, that 99 looking good, he's starting to lose a bit of contact again with second place of Chase Elliott. But Jay, I mean, we got 2 teammates of Elliott and Byron going at it here for a race victory as we start lap 268. Do you think if you're Chase Elliott, are you going to try and move him out of the way? Or are you going to do it as clean as possible on a teammate?
I probably would still try and give him the bumper. I wouldn't full send him and straight up dump him, but I would at least try something and give him the bumper and try and move him a little bit and see if I can pass him cleanly or as cleanly as I can as there's a caution on the track.
Well, oh, it's the two of Kozlowski, it appears to be. That was an awkward place to be kind of turned in the direction he was. But either way, let's get an immediate look on what's going on here behind the pace car to make sure nothing crazy goes down. You see a lot of stack-ups back there, but they seem to be okay. But these guys are indeed going to come into the pit lane, which will guarantee no more pit stops for the rest of the race under green flag conditions, at least now. As it's going to be interesting to watch here. This is going to be probably, Jay, the most important pit stop of the night for everybody.
What this immediately does as well is it gives Larson another chance to pit, reset, get another restart, and I really do think the more restarts he gets, the better his chances are to win this thing. I mean, I really do think that he still has such a good car that anytime we get a restart and he gets to be up towards these front guys again. I mean, he made up I think 3 or 4 spots there on that run. So him being closer towards the front, I'm sure is not something that William Byron or Chase Elliott wants to see. But I mean, he's still going to have to get around some fairly competitive and really good cars. See what happens out here off the exit of the pit lane.
Here we go. Oh, Larson.
Kyle Larson, 2nd place.
Briscoe. Byron down to 4th. Suarez 5th. Kyle Busch drops quite a ways down. That is big right there. We were mentioning it being probably the most important pit stop of the night. William Byron dominating the 3rd and final stage. We'll have a restart with less than 30 to go, and he will now be down in P4 as the rookie of Chase Briscoe has now climbed himself up into the top 3. Larson to 2nd, and all of a sudden, he has brought himself back into position to potentially win the race when just minutes ago, as the 14 decides to drive into the back of him, just minutes ago, we were mentioning Kyle Larson's got to be disappointed about throwing this race away. And here he is now back in position to potentially win here today at Martinsville. As we're going to get a quick look, though, at what brought out this most recent caution here at Martinsville.
So we're here getting a look at what happened here. Brad Keselowski, Kevin Harvick, and JJ Yaley there just kind of come together all in the back straightaway. Keselowski spins right in front of some of these guys, and man, really, really, really close there for Christopher Bell and Ryan Newman. I mean, Newman with the damage he had, if he had hit there, that probably would have been the end to his day.
Very close call for sure there between the 20 and the 6 of Bell and Newman now, as Keselowski overall, this car doesn't look too damaged, so he will continue on just fine, I am sure now, as they stack up a little bit again, but it could be setting up for the final restart of the day, Jay, so it will be probably going green next time by, my guess, so we'll have 37 or so laps to go, 37, 38, something like that, so it's going to be crunch time at this point. We know the lap traffic's going to be lining up on the inside of these guys, and we know how much of a factor that's going to play, so I think William Byron probably is in a lot of trouble here because we've seen the guys 3rd, 4th in line really struggle, and it's really the top 2 that are able to get away. So I think that Larson and Elliott are about to scrap it out for victory here.
Byron has shown recently, though, that he's had probably the best car in the field. So I don't know. We're going to see right here if that's because of clean air or if that's truly because he got the adjustments and made his car to the best. We'll see it here pretty quickly, I think. But I mean, like you mentioned, he's in 4th, and he's going to be behind lap cars as well. That's a huge disadvantage for him. And I mean, and Kyle Busch as well. That's really bad for Kyle Busch too. So I really do think that I kind of agree with you. I think it's going to come down to a scrap here between the 9 and the 5.
And he's going to have to deal with the 1 car of Kurt Busch, who we know has speed, the 22, who we saw drive away earlier from these guys, then the 48 of Balman, the 23 of Bubba Wallace. So it's not going to be an easy task, I don't think, for even Kyle Larson or Chase Elliott at this point now. As we get ready to go green, it will be 37 laps to go here as we come through turns 3 and 4. I picked at the beginning of the race the 9 car of Chase Elliott to win. It wasn't looking like he was going to be a factor at some points, but here he is now leading the way as we are back underway with 37 laps to go. Now, Kyle Busch pretty much in the spot Kyle Larson was in just a little bit ago. They kind of swapped just about now. But Elliott already clear of the lap traffic, and that is absolutely crucial. He jumps up to the top to make sure to cover that 5 of Larson, who is just about clear into turn 3, but not quite now as they come through out of turns 4. But I think Larson right here, it's crucial. And sure enough, he gets clear there for second place. So now, Jay, I think we know for a fact that 5 car's got more speed. At least earlier when these two were racing straight up, we know that 5 car is faster than the 9. So it's just a matter of time at this point until I think he gets there.
Yeah, I don't know if he's faster than Chase Elliott, but he certainly is faster than he was earlier with these last couple of runs at least. So I don't know if he's going to easily get around Chase here, but I know he's definitely going to battle him. And it might come down to the very last corner before we see an actual pass be made. I mean, these two have just been really competitive this entire race, and I'm actually kind of surprised to see Byron struggling as much as he is right now. I didn't expect him to get an easy run up here around these guys, but I didn't really expect him to fall behind, almost behind Alex Balman.
Not the restart he was looking for whatsoever. You see the 14 at Briscoe. He's about clear of Kurt Busch into turns 1. Honestly, he might clear him right here out of turns 2. And, I mean, it's been interesting or fascinating to watch this 14 car work his way through traffic because we've just seen him claw his way throughout the field this whole race. And that rookie now moves up into P3 out of turns 4 and actually closes in a little bit on the back of Kyle Larson. I don't think I was expecting this, Jay, and now it almost looks like the 9 car might be pulling a bit of a gap on his Hendrick teammate of Kyle Larson. So not expecting what I'm seeing at all from this top 3 here.
It just almost seems like when you get away from the lap cars and you get into the top couple of cars, no matter how good handling your car is, you have the pace to contend with the leader. I'm not too sure how to describe it. It's just the way it's kind of been all night. I mean, we see Byron right here. He was a guy that once he got into the top couple of positions, he was able to run away with it and stick with the leaders before he got past them, and then run away with it once he did. So and then now that he's back here in traffic, he's struggling a lot. I mean, we know obviously dirty air affects these cars, but it just, I don't know. It seems like no matter how well your car is handling, once you get into the top 3, you're gonna run away from everybody else and have the speed to contend with the leader.
William Byron running out of time extremely quick now as he just can't quite pass that 48 or the 22 or the 1 car. He's got to get through 3 different cars here if he wants to even be up in the mix now. So disappointing for him. If it stayed green, he was probably looking at a race victory here tonight. But, I mean, when it comes to the NR 2003 and 2021 season, you never know what to expect. And obviously that proved it right there as we thought he was running away with victory. And all of a sudden, the top 3 is made up of Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, who we thought was out of the picture, is back in it. Chase Briscoe definitely losing some ground here to these front 2 now, as it was 1.1, now 1.3 seconds the next time around. So Larson and Elliott getting ready to duel it out for victory here now. So it was almost 5/10 of a second at the end of the last lap. So it's going to be interesting to see what it is next time around between that 9 and the 5 now. I mean, the 5 is just stalking him at this point, Jay, and you see there Larson gained just a tiny bit, but he's just so close, but not close enough right now to make anything happen.
I think Larson probably wants to honestly be in this position. I don't think he wants to be in the lead unless he feels like he has the absolute faster car and can run away from Chase Elliott. I'm not sure he wants to be in the lead, because if he is in the lead and Chase Elliott's able to keep with him, then I mean, obviously Chase Elliott can send him into a corner and either bump him or dump him for the win. So if Larson stays in second here and keeps right on the bumper, Chase Elliott, he can be the one that's doing the bumping or dumping and on the final lap here into turn 3 or anywhere on the final lap and can secure his win. So I think Larson probably right now just wants to sit in second place and just kind of keep Chase Elliott right in front of him, and then we'll probably see him make his move on the last lap.
Elliott has opened up the gap over the last couple laps. He's gained both laps now, just over half a second on the exit of turns 2, with coming up to 15 laps to go, which is a very short period of time here at Martinsville Speedway. Now, Elliott and Larson both looking for their first wins on the season now, as Larson this lap around, though, actually gains nearly a full 10th on the 9 of Elliott. So don't write him off just yet, as these Hendrick drivers battle it out for the race victory now, looking to put themselves both into the playoffs now, as you got drivers still like Daniel Suarez having a strong run here late in this race. Byron now, he got past the 48, but is just settled in behind the 22 and now is 3.5 seconds about behind. So obviously we can write him off at this point, as Larson just lost a tiny bit of ground right there on that last lap. But Jay, we still look up ahead here, and they will at least have to deal with the 54 of J.J. Yaley. So that still could be a bit of a factor in how this plays out between these two Hendrick teammates.
we haven't seen lap cars be too much of an issue tonight. But I have to think that with so many laps to go, I really do think that if they catch him, this might be the point where they struggle the most, just because you'd think he'll get out of the way, but he won't. And so now they're going to be thinking about the race victory and how to get around him. And you might see Chase Elliott make a bit of a mistake, thinking that this is the move he needs to make, and maybe he chooses the wrong line, and Larson is able to catch up to him here. So we'll see right here, I guess, how Chase Elliott gets around this lap car.
Chase Elliott hadn't won a Martinsville race in his Cup Series career until last season in the playoff race. Went on to win the championship. Now trying to go back-to-back, though, but that is not quite confirmed or guaranteed yet, as Kyle Larson looks up the inside on the exit of the corner, and look at this, down the front straightaway. Yaley is going to cover off the 9, and Kyle Larson goes to the lead, and Chase Elliott is now going to have to try and find a way past that 54. So all of a sudden, just like that, Jay, I guess we were right. The lap traffic just played a big role in that race, because now Kyle Larson has gotten the lead out of J.J. Yaley being in the way of the 9 car of Elliott.
I'd like to just go ahead and deem myself a genius right here and now, because what did I say? I said that Chase Elliott would choose the wrong line, and he did. I'm a genius. I knew it was going to happen. I could see the future. But yeah, I mean, really just not what Chase Elliott wanted to do there. He thought that he'd be able to get the run off the corner and get around Yaley, and then Larson dove into the inside and made sure that did not happen. And I mean, Chase got right back up to him though, so obviously Larson's not going to run away from him here.
I don't think lap traffic is going to be an issue for the rest of the race. The 47 is a straightaway ahead as we come through to 8 laps to go this time by, so it will be close. But hopefully it's not going to be an issue now, as yeah, that 9 car, he's there again. So it is definitely not over. You know how desperately Kyle Larson wants to win this race, Jay. He has been in a position way more than the 9 car has this season to win, and has given them up. Honestly, this is the first time we've seen Elliott in a position to win a race. So Larson, you probably know, wants it way more right now than that 9 car.
They probably both equally wanted the same. I mean, Larson, yeah, like you mentioned, he's been in contention for a lot of wins and given some away. But Chase Elliott, also on the flip side, hasn't been in contention for a lot of wins. And so he is in contention for a win finally. And he's probably thinking, I don't know, with the way I've been performing this season, I don't know when I'll get another chance. So he's probably got the same amount of desperation right now as Kyle Larson does. I mean, Larson, I think out of those two, at least with the way they've been performing so far this season, I think Larson has the best chance to win another race besides this one, and I'm not too sure if Chase Elliott how many more chances he will have, with just based on the way he's been running so far this season.
Or, of course, it could be just a step in the right direction for that 9 team, building up to some momentum now as Larson tries to hold him off right now. All the Hendrick cars in the top 10, other than Alex Balman, who's currently down in P12 as they go down into turn 3. It will be 5 laps to go this time by. It's about now half a straightaway maybe to Kyle Larson to the next lap car. So it is going to be maybe a little bit closer than I anticipated here as we start the final 5 laps. But right now, Jay, it looks like that 9 car is stuck. And I mean, his only options, I think, are to try and move the 5, but he's not close enough to move him, or just try and get up to that second line and just make that outside work with that grip strip.
No, I think Chase Elliott's going to just sit here, kind of like I was saying with Larson earlier. I think he's going to do what I was mentioning what Larson was going to do. He's just going to sit on his rear bumper and then make his move on the last lap, probably into turn 3, and move him out of the way.
Lost the 10.
I really don't think that that we'll see that. I don't think we'll see anything besides that move happen. And another thing that I have noticed is that Byron has caught Chase Briscoe for 3rd place, and Daniel Suarez has caught Chris Buescher for 5th place.
Yes, there you got Byron moving his way back up now. At this point, if a caution comes out, the race is over. So it doesn't matter. Basically, the next flag, it does end the race at this point here as they go into turns 1. Almost half a second between Larson and Elliott. It sounds like a lot, but I mean, it does not look like much right now as we are approaching the final 2 laps. Oh, it is going to be... No, they shouldn't get there. So it should just be a straight-up race here for the win now, as Kyle Larson leads the way with 2 laps to go. Now, as if Elliott hadn't chosen the wrong line, it would be the other way around.
I don't know. I think they may catch Stenhouse. They are really gaining on these guys here. They may just catch him towards the end of the last lap.
Down into turn 3 and 4 the final time. Elliott's not going to be close enough to make anything happen.
Not final time. Or
coming to the final lap. I mean, now as we exit turns 4. Oh, it is going to be close here. White flag in the air for Kyle Larson. He's thrown away some chances at victory this season already. Elliott, his first chance at a win all season long, out of turn 2, down the back straightaway for the final time. Well, they run down the 47. They should be fine. Larson leads the way into 3 and 4. Elliott, one last chance into the final turn, but it's not going to be enough. Kyle Larson, out of turn 4 for the first time this season, will win in Martinsville Speedway under the lights at the paperclip. Jay, 20, 25, 30 laps ago, we had written Kyle Larson off because he was so far down the order, down in like 8th to 9th place. One pit stop changed everything for him. William Byron, who looked in position to win, and then it looked like Larson was settling in for second. Elliott chooses the wrong lane. Larson takes advantage and runs away with the victory. What a comeback right there for the 5 of Larson.
We have particularly given this race right to William Byron. I mean, I didn't really see him losing this race at all, and then a caution came out, and we had the strategy there with the red light being on at the end of pit road, and it caused so many different lead changes throughout this race. I mean, it happened at least 4 different times where these guys had to sit and wait at the end of pit road, and it was really just all about who got the better timing of it and who got the better run. And it just so happened that Kyle Larson got right up to the light right as it was turning green, and he just gave Chase Elliott a bit of a bump. And unfortunately for Byron, he was at a dead stop, so he lost several spots there and just was not able to ever gain that ground back up.
What a race overall in general, honestly. Me and Jay were talking about it during our quote unquote breaks that we take. And honestly, I felt like this was probably the best race of the season overall. It had sporadic cautions. There wasn't too many long green flag runs, but there wasn't too many cautions either. It overall felt really good. The lap traffic didn't play a disastrous role today. It did actually have an effect on the finish a little bit there with Elliott losing the lead to Kyle Larson due to J.J. Haley being in the way. But overall, I think, Jay, we saw some tremendous racing tonight, a lot of lead changes, and just some great action-packed racing. And we didn't have any catastrophic big crashes either, just wiping out a lot of good contenders.
I think the only thing that I would have rather had gone differently is I would have liked to seen more cars on the lead lap, just because I think there was a couple there, like Kurt Busch,
Joey
like
Logano.
Joey
Yeah.
Logano, kind of Alex Bowman towards the end, and even Bubba Wallace, who and Denny Hamlin as well, who all showed really good speed. They just unfortunately were caught laps down, and they just there's no chance once you get a lap down. There's no chance of making that back up in NR 2003. So that's the only thing that I think I would have liked to seen gone differently this race. But yeah, I do agree. I mean, it was probably the cleanest race of the season, and certainly had the best racing of the season. Is I see you circling to Benedetto there. Yeah, not good for him at all. He is. Let me double check the points real quick. He is. Oh, hold on. I thought I had it pulled up. I do not. Give me 5 seconds. He is actually inside of the playoffs. I did not realize that. He is 20 or so points inside of the playoffs.
Might
But
not be
I
anymore.
think that may change. Yeah, I was going to say, I think that may change now. He's going to be either close to being out or out of the playoffs now with that just absolutely abysmal run that he had today or tonight.
I don't think he picked up a single stage point either. So a very poor day for Matt DiBenedetto. We saw him get collected in an accident, and that's why he had the race
There's
that he did.
there's several guys behind him actually that had pretty bad days as well. DiBenedetto uh, is in he's in 12th in the points in the stand or in the playoff standings. Newman, who's just behind him, had a rough day. Bubba Wallace had a rough day. He was just behind Newman. Christopher Bell also had a pretty rough day. He was just behind Bubba Wallace. So really, I think Kurt Busch might actually be in pretty decent position here compared to some of those other guys. And then Tyler Reddick, Daniel Suarez, they probably gained a bunch of ground on guys like Ryan Newman and Bubba Wallace and Christopher Bell.
Overall, I mean, I look at
Actually, maybe not
what's
Bubba
his.
Wallace. He did
Yeah,
finish
Bubba got
13th,
what,
but
13th? Yeah, a
yeah,
decent
so
rebound for him. Um,
yeah.
Busher again, though. I think this is the first time we actually saw some legitimate speed out of that car instead of him staying out of trouble, and that's just going to help him even more in the regular season points.
He's going to 100% have that top point spot locked up after this race, which will put him locked into the playoffs. Because as you all know, the top point finisher gets automatically locked in, so it's 15 winners in the top points finisher. If the person in first doesn't have a win.
I think Busher could be a driver that does that at this rate. He doesn't seem to have the speed to win races, but he's got some tremendous just will to just keep on keeping on.
Inconsistency.
Yeah. And I mean, showed that again tonight at Martinsville. Was top 10 in the stages, finishes top 5 there. Austin Cindric with a good run. That might have been the last time you could actually see him this season in the Cup Series. You might have him here for a race or two to keep it more legit. But I mean, overall, 300 laps of entertainment, great race, some spectacular crashes here and there, and then a lot of lead changes, some pit road drama, which really resulted in the finish that we got, kind of, with William Byron dropping down to P4. A great day for Byron, of course, as well. A lot of guys that needed good days got them. Some guys that did not need a bad day ended up having those as well. Kevin Harvick actually got P22, which is one of his better finishes recently here in the career mode, or not the career mode, the NR2003 2021 season. But next week, Jay, do you know where we're going next week at all? Is it maybe Texas, or no, is it Richmond?
No, I believe it's Richmond. Yeah, Richmond, then Talladega, I believe, is the next couple of races we have coming
Oh,
up.
we don't have Texas in the spring anymore, do we? Because it's the All Star race.
We do not know.
It's just in the playoffs now or whatever. So All Star race and playoff race. So yeah, we don't have to worry about Texas. So we got Richmond coming up next week, Talladega, then we'll have Circuit of the Americas coming up,
Kansas.
Kansas. I think Circuit of the Americas. I believe that's someone has a mod for that. I hope so.
It goes. We have Richmond next weekend, Talladega the week after, Kansas the week after that, then Darlington for the Southern 500. No, that's not the Southern 500. That's a throwback weekend. Then Dover, and then Coda towards the end of May.
So those 6 tracks. That's quite unique right there. That's going to be a lot of fun to cover. I think Coda will be the crazy one. Darlington, that's going to be crazy for sure. Talladega, of course, with the physics that we have now, is way different from Daytona. So I'm very excited to see that. But as always, if you guys enjoyed, you do know what to do. We would, of course, like to thank you all for taking the time out of your day to watch this episode and all of the other ones. If you enjoyed it, make sure to check them out. And we will see you guys next week at Richmond for another short track race before we head towards some of the bigger tracks like Talladega and Kansas. So thank you for watching, everybody, and have yourselves a great day.